Welcome to the Whatever Dating Talk podcast, where we try to make sense of the modern dating hellscape. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We're going to have the guests introduce themselves, so please tell us your name, age, location, so where you're from, and occupation. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Sophia. I'm 21 and I'm from Chicago. I am a streamer and I do a lot of social media influencing.
All right, welcome.
Hi, my name is Erin, aka Straighterade. I'm originally from South Texas, but now based in Miami Beach. I'm 25 and I work for Progressive Victory, which is a PAC dedicated to helping get progressive politicians elected to office.
All right, welcome back.
Hi, I'm Savannah. I'm 20. My birthday just happened. 26. I'm 26. I'm from LA, and I'm a clothing designer / model.
Okay, welcome.
Hi, I'm Pixie. I'm 24. I currently live in Miami, but I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. I also work with Progressive Victory in the streaming operations, helping connect streamers to legislators to help pass progressive legislation. So, yeah, here I am.
All right, welcome back.
Hi, I'm Angel. I'm 19. I do social media, and I am a piercing apprentice.
Okay, got it.
Hi, I'm Tina Snows. I'm from Dublin, Ireland. I'm 25. And I'm a content creator on social media, on OnlyFans. I also work with productions on adult movies, and I'm also involved in influencer boxing scene, and I've just started streaming on Twitch.
You do any boxing yourself, or you're just involved in the promotion?
I've only just started training. I took it up 2 months ago because I've already done the ring girl, I've done ring walks, so I'm taking up the training now and seeing where I can go. Maybe 2024 you'll see me fighting in the ring. Who knows?
Got it, okay.
Hi, I'm Molly Little. I'm 20 and I'm a porn star and I do OnlyFans.
I'm Charlie, Charlie Kirk, honored to be here, and I run Turning Point USA and also host a podcast, The Charlie Kirk Show, and have a YouTube channel, all that good stuff.
Sweet.
From Arizona.
Age?
I just turned 30, so I'm getting too old for this stuff.
Oh, wow, okay. Well, okay.
30 and flirty.
When was your birthday?
October.
Oh.
Yeah.
Great. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the table once more. What is everyone's current relationship status? So are you single, talking stage, situationship, friends with benefits, relationship, married, polycule? How long have you been single if you're single? What's the longest relationship that you've ever been in? Starting with you, go ahead.
I am single. I've been single for about, I would say, 4 months now. And the longest relationship I've had would probably be a year.
All right.
I'm taken. I'm in a relationship with my boyfriend, like in Cooks, and we've been together for 5 months, and this is my longest relationship and my first relationship.
Congrats. There you go.
I am in a relationship. What was the other question?
What's your longest?
Longest, 2.5
Yeah.
years.
I'm single, like Pringle. I'm looking to date. My longest relationship was like 3 to 4 years.
You said longest relationship was 3 to 4 years?
Yeah.
And is this a new relationship for you? Okay, because I think last time you were on, you were not in a...
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So how new is this, like a month or so? If you can you scoot into the table just a tad? Is there no space?
Yeah.
That's fine. How new is the relationship?
Not even a month, so.
Okay, could I have you scoot your microphone that way just a tad?
This way?
Other way?
Oh.
Yep, perfect. What about you?
I'm single. I've been single for a year, and my longest relationship was a year and a half.
All right.
I've been single for about 2 years, a little bit over 2 years, and my longest relationship is between 6 months and a year. Yeah, and they usually always cap at that. I've only had like 3 relationships, and they never last longer than that. I get bored too easily, I guess.
You get bored too easily.
I think, I don't know.
And you said from 6 months to a year, you seem a little uncertain about the length of your longest relationship.
Yeah.
Is it a bit hazy in the sense of, was it on again, off again? Is that kind of what you're...
It wasn't really on and off, but it was kind of like we dated for 6 months and then we were in a relationship for a couple more months. So the total of kind of being in a situation and dating and stuff
Got it.
can be up to a year, yeah.
Okay. Molly, what about you?
I'm in a relationship. It's been 10 months and my longest relationship was about a year.
All right. Charlie, what about you?
Happily married.
Okay.
We've been together for 5 years, and we'll be celebrating our 3-year anniversary in May, and we have a beautiful daughter.
All right. Well, I think you're being the only married person here, I think that's perhaps a good jumping off point. I think a lot of people, both men and women, they're kind of frustrated with the current dating landscape. Do you have any thoughts on this? What's your diagnosis and any solutions? And we'll open it up.
Sure, yeah. I think people need to date with the intent to marry. Yeah, I'm a big critic of hookup culture in its current form. I believe sex should be sacred and is sacred, and it's really thrown away way too generously in this society and culture. And I can tell you, I'm super blessed. I have the best wife in the world. We have an amazing life. Building a family is the coolest thing ever, and my prayer for all of you is that you one day can do that.
That's so cute.
It's honestly the most joyful thing, and I've had some pretty amazing experiences. I've been very, very blessed, very lucky, you could say, but very blessed is the word I would use. And the greatest joy I've ever had is coming home to my little daughter running up to my leg. There's nothing that even comes close to it. Not flying on Air Force One, not meeting with presidents. That pales in comparison to your little girl coming up and squeezing your leg.
Okay, got it. Does anybody else have any thoughts on that with,
Yeah. So I just wanted to circle back because you said something that caught my attention, and I disagree with it. Because you said something like, I hope all of you can experience that, and you said something like, I hope all of you can experience that, and I mean, I don't disagree with that. I hope we can all experience joy in life like that. That's amazing, but I just feel like I don't know why you said it that way. Maybe we're not going to experience that because we don't have the same values as you.
Is that what he said?
From that,
I thought it was.
I don't think that's.
I don't know.
That's not the impression I got, but I'll if Charlie wants to answer.
Well, if I said it that way, I didn't mean it that way. But do you feel is that a goal that you have to be a mother?
There's a thing.
Okay. The P star is giving Charlie a covert. Whoa. Okay. All right. Okay. I know. Okay. All right. Moving on.
No, but Molly, do you think that
keep it?
Is that okay? No.
Oh no. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, is that a goal that you would want in your life to be a mother?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that in your self-described current line of work that is more or less likely?
What do you mean by likely?
I mean, maybe you can tell me more about your line of work.
What would you like to know?
Do you think that it's going to create a good, happy family in the future?
Right now I'm working on it. Yeah, me
That's
and
good.
my boyfriend are doing really well in our relationship, and honestly, I think contrary to what most people would believe, I think being in porn has strengthened us.
Why is that? I've never heard that.
Yeah.
What can you tell me why?
So basically, being in porn and having sort of this open type of relationship where you can have sex with other people, obviously there are certain boundaries in the relationship, but it really makes you think about, what's important, why you love this person, and, you start to really hold things true that are deeper than just sex, and I think that on top of that, you can share sex with other people together, and that's really bonding, that's really fun.
Are you ever worried that do you ever get jealous of him if he has sex with other people?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
So how does that strengthen your relationship?
Because we're able to talk about it, and I think every time that I bring up a concern and he's able to soothe it and we're really able to work on that bond, it just makes it stronger.
Have you ever, when you were having sex, do you ever think it's more than physical? That maybe there's emotional and spiritual connections you might be introducing?
No.
So it's a purely physical experience.
Yeah.
See, for me, sex is more than physical. That's the least part of sex for me because I get to share it with my soulmate. It's my best friend.
It's definitely a big energy exchange.
It's a big energy exchange. And so, Molly, I would ask respectfully, wouldn't you want to only share that energy exchange with the person that you love most and want to have children with?
I think sex can exchange different types of energies. So you can exchange an intimate type of energy, or you can exchange a really passionate, horny type of energy. You can exchange dull energy during sex. You can exchange manipulative energy during sex. Sex can be used for a wide variety of things, and I think the biggest one is like marital spiritual connection, but you can't deny that there's other benefits to it as well.
If you could be with your boyfriend currently, and I waved a magic wand and I said you can make $1 million a year and never do porn again, would you?
No.
Okay. Okay.
What?
Are you making more than that a year, Molly?
Not yet.
Oh, well
Yeah.
then, I mean, aren't you doing that? That's your profession, so I assume you're doing that to make money, correct?
Yeah, 100%. Well, also
But Charlie
I'm
just
doing
has a magical wand. He's got, that's not the wand.
For the sake of argument.
He's used the wand. You can make $1 million a year.
Yeah.
You don't have to do, the adult content.
Well, the thing is, I wouldn't have to do it. That would be great, but I would still want to do it. I mean, personally, like, I'm an exhibitionist. I love, like, putting my sexual self out there for other people to see, for other people to, like, touch themselves to, have fun with.
Can I ask you a question? Since you're about presenting yourself to the world, do you have a good relationship with your father?
Okay, here we go.
No, I don't talk to him.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I actually think it's principled that you said you wouldn't give it up just for money, because that shows that you do it for reasons beyond just like financial ones. That shows you have like a genuine passion and interest in it.
Grid 1 Motorsports donated $200. In other words, sex is whatever she needs to make believe it is at the time she needs to rationalize it. It's called whole logic.
Oh.
I wouldn't use that language, but Molly, what I would say is you seem like a sweet person. Maybe something to think about as the years go on, that maybe sex should just be saved for the person you love most. I would ask you or the panel, what would your definition of love be?
Me and the whole panel?
Or just anyone. I mean, that's just the fundamental question with dating, right? Is that a tough question, guys? What
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I feel
very
like love is
complex
complicated.
answer.
You know what? Let's go around the
Sorry,
table.
I don't mean to-
Oh, no, it's great. It's
No,
great.
I-
It's great. We'll go around the table. Do you want to answer? So your question is, what is love?
Yeah, that's a song, too.
What is love?
It's a good song.
Yeah,
It's a good
or
song.
how would you define love? Because I think
How do you
that
define love?
Shouldn't that? Could we all agree that's probably a good goal of dating, to find love? Do we all
Yeah.
agree on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So we'll start with you. We'll go around the table. If you guys want to give your answers for that, go ahead.
I feel like love is an emotional connection between two people that value each other and accept each other for who they are. I feel like that's what love is. I feel like real love is when you find kind of, I guess, things you don't like about the person you're with and you still choose to be with them and grow with them either way. I feel like that's real love.
I feel like that's more of a romantic type of love. I feel like love is something that's going to transcend just romantic relationships. And I would say it's like an emotional bond that exists between human beings. And I say human beings just to specify that I don't think it exists between people and things, because I think that's kind of materialistic.
Flan Life, thank you for the gifted 50 memberships. Appreciate it. Sorry, go ahead, Aaron. Go ahead.
Just that I think love is a connection that exists between people, not things, to get away from more of like a materialist understanding of like people saying like, I love my car, or I love this item or whatever. I don't really think that constitutes love. But other than that, I would not be able to really define it. It's a question that philosophers have been debating since the beginning of time. I don't know that it'll be answered on this podcast.
Hold on.
Donald Trump donated $200. I'm pleased to announce Charlie
that's
Kirk
a
as
big-
my
that's a
VP
big
pick.
announcement.
It'll be the best. Big. Trump Kirk 2024. Tremendous. We will make America great again.
For the record,
I'm
I'm not old enough. For
Oh, you're not old enough to be the VP pick. Okay. I thought we had a whatever exclusive here. Charlie Kirk,
35.
the VP pick. Okay. Sorry, Aaron. Go ahead.
No, just that.
Oh, okay. What about you?
I agree with both of them, so I don't really have anything else to add.
Okay. All right.
There's different types of love. Obviously, we don't feel love for our parents the same way we do with a romantic
Sure.
partner, friend.
Or friends, yeah.
Yeah, but with that being said, I would classify love as a deep connection and emotion that you share with someone, and also kind of like really hoping for the best for that person, for who they are and their future, and just like what you hope you can do together as well.
Okay.
I agree with them as well. I think love is accepting someone for all of them, not just the good parts. And I think that it should be like unconditional. If you're gonna love someone, that it should be, you know, the good and the bad.
That's a tricky one for me because I have a hard, I'm difficult to kind of deal with the term love and things around it. I'm kind of scared of it, but I feel like the main type of love that I like to focus on is just the self-love. Like as the rest of the girls are saying, there's so many different types of love you can find in a partner, but I feel like, I don't know, I couldn't imagine myself loving someone unconditionally, but myself, sure, I can find ways.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Why do you think you're afraid of love?
I don't know what it is. I think maybe the commitment.
It's scary.
And
Love
it's
is
like,
scary.
yeah, it's scary, isn't it?
Would you say other people, are you afraid of love?
I
Do
feel
you
like
feel that way?
I feel like people are afraid of happiness because happiness isn't long term. You can't stay happy forever,
Yeah.
especially with the person. It's not always going to be perfect. So I feel like a lot of people are scared of love because I feel like, well, let's say you're in a relationship with somebody, right? And I guess the best thing you can hope for is to end up dying together. It's no matter what, it's never like forever lasting. So I don't know. I think that's how it is.
And it's also scary because, like, if you give more to someone and they, like, don't give it back,
happens a
like,
lot.
that hurts a lot.
Yeah.
I think honestly that's the most beautiful part about love, because true love doesn't really care whether you're loved back. It hurts
yeah.
if you're not loved back, but
That's
you're
what I
still
mean,
going
yeah.
to love that person or
Yeah.
yourself or whatever. But I think that love in general is just a deep understanding and acceptance of a human being.
Yeah, the Greeks had 4 words for love. English has screwed this up. So in Greek, the first word would be phileo, which is the brotherly love, the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, right? So we all know that what that's like to love a sibling, right? But that's a completely different type of love than storge in Greek, which is to love a child, which is my wish for all of you. It's a great thing, as I said. Also, there is eros, which some of you may have had before, which is erotic. We get the English word erotic from. But then there's this...
You looked at me.
Did you look at her?
I did
didn't.
kind of glance right in her direction right as you said that. So.
And then the last is agape, which I'm a Christian. We believe that's the highest form of love, which you guys mentioned sort of, which is you would give your life for that person. And that's a very hard thing, right? I would give my life for my wife in a second and for my child. And I guess my question is, and anyone can chime in, through the current hookup culture, OnlyFans, is it more or less likely to get towards that ideal self-sacrificing type of love?
Yeah.
Personally, I was just gonna say, personally, I think that a lot of people today are so wrapped up and stuck because they don't know how to love themselves, and that causes, you know, a lot of stuff to happen, and it can cloud your mind from really being able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Pursue and look for a connection with another person.
And also with like social media and like dating apps and stuff now, like people are so used to like having options and just like literally just having like whoever they really want to. So it's like a lot harder for people to be like, I guess, more serious because once...
Go ahead, keep going.
Because like I don't know, like for a lot of people that are into like hookup culture and stuff, like I don't know, I just feel like there's a lot of options and people don't take it serious because there's so many people to choose from. And like if they don't like one thing about you, they're like, oh, okay, I'll just find someone else then. Like, I don't know, it's kind of...
Yeah, but I think that goes in terms of like anybody, not just OnlyFans people.
Yeah.
OnlyFans obviously does get in the way of someone wanting to take you serious. But I've actually noticed OnlyFans has got a lot more guys in my DMs. So when I post a booty pic, everyone is loving me. That's all, you know?
Well, do they love you or do they lust you?
Well, it's probably more lust, but
yeah.
it's still something to
It-
feed my attention ego.
If you could find a stable soulmate, would you quit that line of work? If you were totally financially supported, similar to the question of Molly.
I mean, anything to make me stay in bed all day, I'll take it. So yeah, but in terms of a soulmate, I don't know. Like, I'd rather myself be my own soulmate. Like, I was raised by an independent mother. I haven't really seen much of a, like, kind of, I guess, a relationship. But I also feel like you don't really need it. My mom has done everything for herself and for me. So I don't know. I feel like menopause as well. I'm gonna get sick of them, and I'll be in a marriage that I will regret. So
Sick of who?
If I get married.
Oh,
So
sick of your
You guys have such a dark view of marriage. It's a beautiful thing, everybody. It's this exciting,
I've yet to
amazing.
experience
No,
something that makes me
trust me.
believe.
Part of the problem is the culture is so dark and terrible.
It is.
I will be perfect. It's very hard. Marriage is very difficult. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, and raising kids is even harder than that. And I've done some difficult stuff, but it's by far the most fulfilling.
Charlie, do you think people should wait until marriage to have sex?
Ideally, of course, yes. But I'm not here to judge people I'm not here to say that you're a bad person or whatever. I have my...
Sorry, can I just ask?
Yes, sure.
Did you wait till marriage?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It was the greatest decision of my life.
Wow,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
I would not be able. Imagine you waited till marriage and you find out they have a
I had other...
I would hate that. Like, I would be so
Well, there's
mad.
more important things.
I think
So
more
big it
important
would fit.
things.
Or that, yeah.
Well-
like, you can't leave it up to the marriage day, man. Sexual intercourse
But
is
let's
important.
play the other side of it. Imagine going into the bedroom on your marriage night and knowing that you both have each other for the first time. You never had
Yeah.
to share that human being.
Yeah, true. But then again, I lost
That
my
would be
virginity
dope.
to a virgin as well.
Or
so
imagine
I
if they were
kinda
really
already
experienced and they were an awesome way and you guys also had a connection.
Or-
That would also be really fun.
Or if they're a man, they might be thinking about other women for the rest of your relationship.
I don't think men stop thinking about other women just because they get married. I
that's-
really
think
doubt
men
that.
will do that no matter what.
No, men's minds are rather undisciplined. You are right. That is true. But they don't have other experiences or pair bonds, especially for young women, which pair bonds are a real thing, to compare that to. But look, I will go back to what I said. Sex is a very powerful thing. We all agreed with that, right? And I think you
A
have
tool, one might even say.
It can be used. It could be abused. It could be, but in its ideal, which I fully acknowledge, it's very, very hard to do. Very hard, very difficult. But should be a goal that I would like to see more people at least talk about in a non-judgmental way that is worth aspiring to. And it's not impossible. It's not impossible. It's not popular, but it's not impossible.
Okay. Did you have a response, Aaron, or I thought someone over here had a...
I don't think so.
I feel like I had something to say, but
Oh, did you have... Yeah, sorry,
forget
did you
what it
have more?
was.
Did any, if you could wipe the slate, I know this is hypothetical, if that's okay?
Wait, I remember what
Yes,
I was
I'm
going to say
sorry,
now.
yeah.
You were saying that, like, oh, if you only have one partner, you're not going to think about other people. But I actually feel like that might make you wonder even more.
Yeah.
You'll be seeing all these girls online, you'll be watching porn, you'll be thinking about all these other things, and it's like all you have is one person. And, like, I don't know, I feel like that would kind of open up a lot of curiosity.
Yeah, that would drive me crazy. I would like always be wondering what I was missing and like did I miss out on something good because I was holding out for something that maybe turned out not to be what I thought it was.
Yeah, looking around, I can't say that I think I'm missing much, to be honest. Not around this table, I'm just
Shots
saying.
fired.
No, not around this table, I just say the country.
Oh,
No,
just
I
in general.
just in general, not around this table, I just, what am I missing? You know, I have and by the way,
Is he missing anything?
Yeah, what?
Aaron, is he missing?
I mean, if
Maybe
you're
you wanna
saying
weigh in?
that
Sophia,
she's like
you
the
wanna
best,
weigh in? What's
like,
he?
No,
why could
I-
be missing
I-
person,
something?
then no.
Pixie,
Not every
is he
day
missing?
is amazing, but
Well, obviously,
I
no
think
one's
you're
perfect.
missing out on some good threesomes. That's all I'm going to say.
okay. If that is the compelling argument, then
I don't know why that's not working. Our audio's
look,
bad.
everything in life is a choice. I get to have a soulmate that I get to go on an adventure with and a beautiful daughter, and you get to have orgies.
You can still have a soulmate and a beautiful family and do porn.
So, Molly, I don't think you're right. And if it works for you, then you will definitely defy the odds.
No, I think it does work. I think it can be proven that you can
I know
still...
for a fact it works.
Yeah,
I have
for sure.
friends with kids and like friends who are in relationships getting married and they're very prominent doing porn, fucking other people, having orgies,
Let me tell you
all that jazz.
Yeah, let me tell you a true story about a young lady who went to high school near here. When she started to get 15, her mom was a porn actress, and all the other boys would constantly tease her and bully her because they would show pictures of her naked mother, and it really, really hurt her. Do you ever wonder that for your future kids, they might have to be confronted by that or teased or ridiculed by your line of work?
I know they will be confronted with it, but there's so many ways to answer this question. But honestly, for one, I don't really care because to me, the way that I look at it and the way that I'm going to raise my kids says a hell of a lot more to me about the child who is instigating negative emotions in my child because of what I do for work rather than my child minding their own business.
Do you ever worry that you might be producing content that could be seriously damaging other people?
No.
Okay.
Charlie, you were about to say a little earlier, if you could wipe the
Yeah.
slate clean,
Sure.
what was the question that you had there?
If you could wipe the slate, theoretically, and re-virginize yourself, and would you? Could you go back to the person you were as a virgin?
No.
No.
I love who I am now. I feel like everything happened for a reason, and I don't know. I love who I am now.
Would I take back the people that I did? Probably, but
fair.
yeah, like you said, it made like who I am. So no.
I think I would definitely do some things different. It's kind of ironic because this probably isn't the answer you're looking for, but if I was to start again, I'd probably lose my virginity for porn and do more porn things earlier on. But yeah, that's just me. But there's definitely some body counts that I do regret, just one night stands and all them lame things. But
What about they did you regret? Just the
one night stands.
they weren't worthy, or?
Yeah, just like bad time or like weird people or like, you know, you get too drunk and you get in a situation you can't really get out of and stuff like that. But in terms of then all the stuff I do for work, I love that because that's like an art form for me. So yeah.
I want to circle back to something you said earlier, where you said that Molly's children, hypothetical future children, could be confronted with like her work, right?
Yes.
And I think that is not, I don't think there's any career path that precludes your child from potentially being confronted with what their parents say. Like, I know that you're involved in like political work and stuff like that. Do you ever worry that things that you've said online or done or political actions that you've taken might be, like your daughter might be confronted by them by somebody who has like, somebody's kid who has an opposing point of view? I feel like that would, like, do you ever worry about something like that?
Oh, she'll definitely be confronted. It's not videos of me having sex online.
No, but you said like
difference.
tons of controversial things, right? So do you expect that any of that could like have negative effects on her well-being or like how she's raised or anything like that? Or do you think, and I say controversial like neutrally and descriptively, like objectively, if your views are polarizing, that's going to incite conversation, debate, discussion. Do you ever worry about like kids confronting her with these things and her not being prepared to know how to answer them, or maybe feeling like bullied or embarrassed?
Yeah, I mean that's a factor of being in public life for sure. Yeah, and hopefully I build her strong up enough to be able to endure that. Right.
Then I bet Molly thinks probably the same thing, right? Like just that sort of resiliency.
Do you think public political commentary is morally on the same plane as filming yourself having sex?
Yes.
Yeah, I think people, if anything, it could sometimes be worse depending on what the person is talking about. You know?
I agree.
Oh, worse. Okay.
I think politics is definitely heavier than porn.
You think politics does more damage than porn?
For the actual life,
100%.
like the world, yes.
yeah. In terms
Her
of, like,
having
the world
sex with other men is not disrupting the world.
Well, no, not just sex, but filming it and disseminating
I think
it.
it
Yeah, but that's
actually
not
helps
putting
the
the world
world
into
because
shambles.
it gives
For
the men a release of their semen that they can't get girls to fuck them, so they go jerk off to me.
all the lonely boys, you know, we're helping them. So
Also, I feel like it's their choice to watch. So it's, you know, it's not
Well,
like
I was
it's
also going to
shoved or
ask how
forced
kids would
people.
know that someone's mom is a porn star. How would they know that?
Internet's forever.
The
Can you
internet.
scoot your mic
Yeah,
that way?
But why are,
internet is
I mean,
forever.
obviously kids what?
It would be a parental failure, basically. Like the parents are not monitoring their child's consumption of media good enough, and therefore they find porn.
Donated $200.
This is
Charlie
stupid. You
was
could ignore
right.
that.
I was a DEI high.
Oh, God.
My sprinkler goes like this.
Oh my god.
They give $200 for this?
I got some interesting. Okay, all right. Thank you for that. Okay, where were we?
I finished my thought.
Okay.
Do-
All right.
Do any of you think that a generation of young men, and having struggled with porn myself, totally acknowledge it, so no one...
Have you jerked off to me?
Oh my God, Molly.
he's thinking.
I've never heard of you before, so yeah,
That's the answer, because your wife is watching.
that's true. I've never heard of you before. Yeah.
That was kind of out of pocket, Molly. Okay, so Charlie Kirk, you're a political commentator.
Can I say one thing? though?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Molly, I have sympathy for you. I do. You're trying to cope with the suppression of your soul. And filming yourself having sex with other men and filming it is not the highest and best use of the talents that God gave you. It's not.
I think
And
that is a talent God gave me.
well, it's not the highest and best use, and it's not a talent because, as I said, in my belief, that should be saved in a sacred domain. We're not going to agree on that, but I hope you change course. I think you'll be happier and more joyful, and I pray you don't have to suffer too much to realize that.
Well, in my belief, this is my most happy and joyful.
So if Molly made like a huge pivot and started doing politics, would you support her political like runs and bids?
It's not a matter of politics. I mean, I want what's best for all of you here, and I don't think filming yourself having sex with men is the highest and best use of your talents. In fact, I think it personally has done a lot of damage to a lot of young men. And don't take my word for it. Look, you can read the book by Gary Wilson, Your Brain on Porn. It is the #1 drug in America right now, and it impacts
Well, it
men.
definitely isn't healthy.
Okay, so it's not healthy, so
No.
we agree. So let me ask a moral question. What do you guys think of drug dealers that push fentanyl? Good people or not good people?
Probably not.
Not
Yeah.
good people.
So
I mean,
if,
that's
if we
killing
agree
people.
that porn is a
Isn't
drug,
killing people.
but hold on a second. If porn is a drug, how is Molly not either drug dealer or a drug manufacturer?
How is
It's different
comparing
levels
porn
of
to fentanyl?
addiction.
There's so many other drugs.
Well,
Like
hold on,
weed is
but-
not fentanyl.
But
Weed's fine.
we agree.
Porn's
Well,
fine.
I wouldn't say weed is fine, but
doesn't
it is
kill
not as
people.
bad as fentanyl. But
I mean,
do we?
there's different levels.
Do you believe
to, like,
porn is a drug?
I think it's an addiction. A drug
Okay.
is a no.
So what does porn do to the male mind?
I don't know. I'm not a male.
Okay, yeah, it is the same biochemical release as cocaine. It's almost identical. In fact, it's even more powerful at times. Not to mention the damage it does to their relationships and
Well, yeah.
how it has to rewire their brain. That goes without saying. But
I
does
I don't really see the comparison with like fentanyl and porn though, because fentanyl actually kills people and
And is highly addictive.
So-
I know right now, currently, like porn addiction is not recognized in the DSM-5 as a legitimate addiction. The only behavioral-based addiction would be drug addiction, something like fentanyl or whatever. Every other type of addiction is something that's like so that you can't, or sorry, not drug-based, gambling. That's what it is. Gambling addiction is very real, but I don't believe porn addiction is. I think you can have impulse control issues with porn, but that would be like any other thing that you could have difficulty controlling, like your consumption of.
So.
Go ahead,
I
Molly,
was-
please.
So
Yeah.
my question is like I kind of have a comparison of my own, and I'll try and sum this up as fast as I can. But basically, when Prohibition happened, people said that alcohol, it was not good for you. It led to deaths, it led to arguments, negative things, whatever. Prohibition happened. People still found ways to have parties with alcohol, drink alcohol, speakeasies existed. The only thing that happened was people didn't stop drinking alcohol, people started getting arrested and punished for it. And it started ruining people's livelihoods in that way instead of in a way that they have control over, meaning that they can stop the addiction by getting help at any time. So my question is, if you think porn is so bad, like an addiction like that, what's your solution? Because if you're going to get rid of it, it's still going to exist.
Well, the
Yeah.
first solution, I mean, can you at least agree, Molly, that minors shouldn't be viewing porn?
100%.
Okay, good.
18
So
posted for a reason.
Yeah.
well, the age verification's a little
Well,
bit loose.
yeah.
So let's talk about that. Utah and Texas passed laws that Pornhub sued that made it more robust. You had to actually provide an ID, and Pornhub didn't like that because they said it would limit their traffic. So would you all agree that if there was robust ID checking, that would, like 18, we can at least agree we could draw the line
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, I feel like that's the normal age. For
Okay,
it, like,
I'm glad to hear that. So on the other side, though, I mean, I think we have to acknowledge that the average American male spending anywhere between 45 minutes to 90 minutes on porn websites, it varies. I mean, this is a new phenomenon, and I just want to reiterate it, that highly interactive, three-dimensional video that triggers dopaminergic responses in the brain is unlike anything we've encountered. The science is still being studied, and Gary Wilson's book is phenomenal on this, Your Brain on Porn. In fact, it is the most used, let's just say product, we don't have to say drug, product for young men in this country. And I guess you would all say that, let me just ask you, how many of you are thrilled with the status of American men? You think that they're strong and confident and they tell the truth?
I love an American man as an Irish girl, definitely.
Okay, well then, you're the exception.
They're all
The Americans
horrible.
are silent.
Okay, you see, yeah, but hold on, and I'm not going to say it's only because of porn, because that would not be fair, but porn consumption does not make better men.
No,
You agree?
I agree 100%.
So that's where I'm just trying to introduce into the conversation. You said, what is the solution? So I would just say, Molly, my advice, well, my ask for you is, for people to stop participating in it. That's not going to happen because the money is so good. But we should draw the line at 18. It should be very, very hard to access. But to your point, Molly, you're not wrong. People would always find it. But we should draw a line in the sand somewhere, especially with minors, or have some sort of, we should have some sort of acknowledgement that this is destroying parts of society. And I won't say it's worse than fentanyl, but in some ways it's very, very sneaky. A lot of married men watch pornography. As I said, I've had my own personal struggles with it. It's incredibly addictive. It's incredibly powerful. It also creates depressive effects in about half of the men that consume pornography. And I would just say that, young ladies, it affects women differently than men. Men are 50 times more visual oriented than women. And that's not to say that women don't consume pornography. They do, in increasingly higher rates. But I think it's a social toxin right now.
I don't think that's anything.
Hold on, just
Charlie Cookenjoyer donated $200. Hey Charlie, just want to say thank you for everything you do. You are a force for good in America. Great to see you on the Whatever podcast. Question, would you ever consider running for office?
It's so scripted. No, not anytime soon. But thank you for the $200 to...
Wait, I have a question for you, actually,
please,
just
sure.
because I don't really know who you are, but there's a lot of
You're
politics.
very lucky. You're very,
okay.
very lucky.
I was just what do you do? Because I've seen you've mentioned politics, and now that what do you?
I run an organization called Turning Point USA. I am a conservative, if you haven't figured that out, and a Christian, and I host a 3-hour show every day in my name. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's switch.
I envy you that you don't know, but yes, I'm sorry.
Totally fine. Let's switch gears a little bit here. So, going around the table asking all the girls here, would you date someone who does not align with your politics? So if you're a liberal, would you date a conservative? If you're conservative, would you date a liberal? If you're a communist, would you date an anarcho-capitalist, I guess? I don't know. So tell us what your political orientation is going around the table, and if you would date somebody who differed from you politically, and if so, why not? Starting with you, go ahead.
Honestly, I feel like it wouldn't be that big of a decision for me. I wouldn't mind. I feel like I'm not that strict about certain things, and I feel like if I want to be with him, I'll be with him and accept him for whatever it is, and maybe even try to, I guess. Well, no, we can't agree to disagree. I feel like on certain things I might actually. I'm too indecisive. Never mind.
Where do you fall politically?
Undefined.
Okay. Undefined?
I'm not going to say it.
Okay. Anarchist, maybe? I don't know.
Not even a hint.
Maybe you guys can pick up randomly.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
I don't know. Okay, Aaron, what about you? What about you?
Yeah, I'm fine dating somebody who disagrees with me politically. I already do. My boyfriend's like a liberal, which is filthy liberal, even though I'm, further left than him. But I love him in spite of that. So.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So what if you were to put a word to how you would describe yourself politically? Are you a leftist?
Yeah, I'd say I'm on the left,
and your
anti-capitalist.
boyfriend's liberal. Mm-hmm. Okay. What about you?
It kind of depends how. Honestly, on both sides, it depends how hardcore they are, because a lot of hardcore stuff like that I don't even agree with on both sides. So it would kind of depend on what they believe in, or how hardcore they are with it. But I think I could. I don't really. I'm always down to have discussions and conversations. So I think I could. As for my political, I don't really care.
You don't care?
I would say I'm in the middle, honestly.
Who did you vote for in the last election?
Or did you vote? Most people don't vote.
I regret my vote now, but we could Biden, unfortunately.
Kanye? You voted for Kanye?
That would have been a better choice, honestly. No, I voted for Biden, unfortunately.
And you regret that?
I do.
Why do you regret that?
Do you see the state of the world?
You're smart.
That's why I'm just in the middle.
Do you want to share?
I agree with stuff on both sides.
Good for you.
Pixie, what about you?
I'm a progressive. My last date actually lasted 20 minutes because of this.
Oh wait, we have the tweets. Nick, pull up her tweets really quick. I saw your tweets.
Shit, the receipts.
About that, we have the receipts. Nick, go ahead.
How much money is in your guys' bank account?
What was that?
We had like a YouTube video randomly start playing Nick. You got it? Make it scroll bigger, Nick. Make it bigger. Okay, I'm convinced I have to move from Miami just so I can actually find someone to date next.
From Miami, yeah.
Today, my date lasted a total of 20 minutes because he found I was progressive and that he was conservative next. At least it was a mutual decision on both parties to rather figure out long-term incompatibility quickly than waste each other's time. So on that date of yours where you were out on a date with a conservative man, who, like, was it kind of, you said it was a mutual thing, but was it more so you who had an issue with it? Was it him? Or it was mutual?
It was pretty darn mutual. Like,
Okay.
what happened was we were in the car, we were going to go to a bar, and he asked me what I did for work. So then I started talking about it, and he was like, would it bother you if I'm a hardcore conservative? And then I was like, well, what do you mean by that? Because some people are like, I'm a hardcore conservative, and what they mean is like smaller government and less taxes, which is, you know, something I can like deal with. And then some people are like, oh, you know, like Nick Fuentes style, like like. So I asked him, and he actually said he was a huge fan of yours, which is like fine.
Well, that's a deal killer.
Of Charlie or whatever?
Of Charlie.
Oh, okay.
But no.
If it was you, it'd be fine.
No. But and he was saying like, oh, you know, I just like, I'm really.
Did he
really,
actually say that?
Yeah.
I like this.
Huge fan? Okay.
But he was like, I'm just like really hardcore conservative. And I was like, well, honestly, at this point, I feel like I would make you more upset than you make me upset. And
You
then
think so?
Yeah.
It seems to me it seems to me that typically it's liberals who are not prepared to be friends with conservatives versus the reverse. I actually think they've done studies on this. It's conservatives typically, from what I've seen, tend to, while they disagree ideologically, liberals just will outright hate somebody who's conservative and think they're like evil.
I think
No, I don't like that. I want to get to be friends with them so I can convert them into my leftist ideology. So how else am I supposed to convert them?
Yeah, I come from a conservative family. I have a lot of close friends that are conservative. So to me, that's like, I'm not new to disagreeing with people. Like,
Okay.
That's just part of life for me. But yeah, it's just like, I'm okay dating somebody who believes in like some different things than me. It just depends on what extent. Like, for example, if I want to have children in the future, and if my child, let's say, comes out as gay, and my partner's like, we have to send them to conversion therapy. To me, that's like a hard line. To me, that's like, no, like I couldn't put my child through that.
We can maybe come back to that specific thing. But just curious, how did you meet him?
Oh, Hinge.
You met him on Hinge? Doesn't it allow you to disclose your political leanings on?
Yeah, I disclosed mine. He didn't disclose his.
Okay.
So why did he go on the date?
Yeah, if he had such a big issue with it. Well, okay. We'll continue going around. And then, did you have anything in response to her, Charlie? Or
No, I actually think you guys made the right choice, believe it or not. I think
Okay.
you have to have value alignment. I think you have to have worldview harmony. That you shouldn't date or marry people. I mean, you have kids, or are you going to have kids, or are you going to raise them religious or not? I mean, just the amount of daily questions that come up in a marriage is, I mean, it's 500 a day. And if you see the world differently, then that's a recipe for disaster. So I actually think you guys made the right. I think you should end up, if you end up marrying somebody who sees the world the way you do.
Yeah.
It would make you a happier marriage and
What if it was
children.
just one issue? Like, if I'm assuming that you're anti-choice, right? Or pro-life?
Yeah, pro-life. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
if your wife is not pro-life, but everything else you guys agree, would that be a deal breaker for you?
That one would be a deal breaker, yeah, because that's not like taxes, right? That's
Yeah.
that's not like, hey, you know, I believe in a 35% tax rate and I believe in a 20% tax rate.
It's like philosophical
Yeah,
variance.
that's right.
Okay.
That's correct.
Ryan, I actually have a tweet up that might relate to this conversation.
What do you mean?
Do you want to see the tweet?
Is
It's
it-
about end wokeness. It's about how women are becoming dramatically more left wing.
Sure, we can take a quick look at it.
There's a graph as well.
I think I saw this. Young women are becoming dramatically left-wing. Young men are becoming more right-wing. This is happening on every continent. So there's South Korea, U.S., Germany, U.K. Scroll down just a tad so we can see the U.K. here. Okay. Yeah.
So I'm curious why, and I'd love to, I mean this like non-sarcastically, I'd love to learn why do you think that trend is?
I think it's because one side. Wait, okay, so left is. I am not like a
that's
huge
okay.
politics
That's all right.
person.
So young women are getting more in like the Joe Biden direction
Okay.
of the Democrat Party,
Okay,
or
that's what I figured.
progressive.
Okay.
And young men are coming more, you could say, in
Like
the Trump,
Okay.
conservative direction.
I think it's more of that reason because obviously the Biden side or whatever you want to say, that side has more of like women's like rights and stuff. So obviously like, well, not right now, but like just in general, like that, the ideas of like that side have more like pro women things and the other side really doesn't. So I think that's why.
I'm going to ask my young progressive organizer. Why do you think? Because it's something that
I personally don't think it's very valuable to ask people to label themselves politically, mostly because if somebody does that, what I want them to do is like write it down on a piece of paper and then crumple it up and throw it away, and usually just go issue by issue, because I found that when you ask people what they mean by conservative or whatever, like Pixie was saying earlier, sometimes they'll say, oh, like low taxes, small government or whatever, but these are very nebulous terms. But when you actually get into it, maybe they describe themselves as conservative but more the libertarian type, so they might be pro-choice still. They might actually be interested in like a less interventionist like foreign policy. And then at that point, those are some like liberal tenets to me. So I don't think it's very useful to even try to like have people do that. Or you might even find some liberals that are like anti-union, for example. Yeah.
Nick, what?
We had like an audio issue for a moment, but it seems okay for now.
Oh, okay.
Audio issue?
Yeah, there was some echo.
AB Check, thank you for the gifted 50 memberships. Hold that thought, everybody. Chat, one in the chat if the audio is okay. One in the chat if the audio is okay. We had an echo?
Yep, it's cleared up.
It's okay now?
Are we able to keep talking or?
Yeah, no, they can hear us, but apparently there's some reports that we're reverb issue. It's happened once at the beginning of the show and once just now. No complaints. Is the chat? Is it fine?
Yep, we're good now.
Okay, we're good. Sorry, go ahead.
So I was gonna say, personally, I think there has been like a big push to like radicalize young men online. You see this with the Tates. You see this in some other forms of media. So I think young men in particular have been very, what is it called? Specialized. You got like these giant propaganda centers and networks focusing on trying to radicalize them in a way that they haven't necessarily put the equal focus on women. So I do think that there's been a lot of like online radicalization going on. I also think, like personally, I'm a feminist, but I think feminism has kind of left men behind and kind of has not given them the answers that a lot of them are necessarily seeking. So then they turn into like these like more what I would call toxic figures instead for guidance. So that's my answer when it comes to like this increased like radicalization.
What could conservatives do better to reach young women?
What could
I mean,
conservatives?
it's not a trap question. I'm honestly curious. Yeah.
I kind of don't want to give you that. Well, I'll give you the answer.
Oh, it's a secret recipe.
No,
It's
I'll
okay.
give it. I'm gonna.
You're going to give it in front of 5 million people. Too, so.
No, but I think a lot of conservatives really villainize young women and like the choices that they take. You see this not in this particular podcast necessarily, but there's some that are more extreme than this that really focus on like shaming women or putting some like basically cultural hypocrisy, like saying it's okay for men to be promiscuous but women aren't.
Grid One Motorsports donated $200.
Hey, thank you, Grid
I would
One.
not say young men have been radicalized. I would say that young men are being reminded they are men and not women, and that real men value women because we are not equal.
Yo, thank you, Grid One. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Pixie. And I if you can, make your point quickly, because I do want to bring in everybody else so they can answer the original question. Go ahead.
Yeah, but long story short, I think trying to not be hypocritical about how we treat men and women and not necessarily like shaming women for their past or how they currently are is probably a better way to reach to them, in my humble opinion.
Okay.
Okay, so honestly, I'm not too educated on politics that I can say I'm one thing.
Sure.
But I do think that my views do lean more progressive. But again, I'm not too educated on the topic. But I think I could date someone. I have dated someone who was conservative. But for me, it's more, there's make or breaks, like you were saying about, if your wife was, pro-choice and you are not, that would be something that I could be like, oh, that's where I draw the line. Just certain things that, morally, I could not be with someone who had those views.
What about you?
I'm not really big into politics either. I don't really understand it. All I know is that I'm pro-choice. I like equality. But yeah, I don't know. I do agree though that your partner, you need to have the similar mindset. So it might be a bit difficult if I was to be with somebody that had a very strong political opinion. Usually I just go for people that are quite open-minded and chill. But I think I could be open still because I like to learn new things when I'm with partners. So it could open my mind even a bit more, and I could probably learn about politics then.
Molly, what about you?
Well, I agree with what you said. My ex-boyfriend was very prominent in politics, and he's very conservative, and I'm not at all. So that was definitely an interesting dynamic, but I think overall we really respected each other's perspective. And I don't think that conservatives are evil or they have a bad agenda. I just personally I don't agree with what they would decide for me, if and so I think that in a relationship when you're with someone that shares different values, it would be extremely hard to be married to someone for the rest of your life. It's doable, especially if you have that type of curiosity with the other person, but I for sure would want to be with someone who shares my kind of openness as well.
Okay. And then Charlie, I think you kind of maybe already went over it, but do you have any thoughts on, do you think it's a better idea for people when it comes to relationships or marriage to, I think I have a sense of what your answer would be, but to marry someone who shares their same political beliefs and values.
Don't try to change your partner. That's a bad idea.
Agree.
Yeah, don't try to change your partner. Don't. Yeah.
Aaron, you said earlier your boyfriend. You said he's not conservative, but he's liberal, and you're much further left. You're leftist. And you said you would, when it comes to perhaps people, you would be friends with someone who's maybe more conservative, so you can shift them more left.
I said that tongue-in-cheek, but
you said that. Well, I was going to ask, have you shifted your boyfriend more left?
I wish.
Okay, so he's pretty firm in his liberalism.
He's firmly planted in his filthy liberalism, but I love him in spite of that.
I see. Okay, got it.
But we align on a lot of social issues, so if we want to create a dichotomy of social and then economic issues, I feel like the economic issues is primarily where we have disagreement, and the social issues, those tend to be, I feel like, the most polarizing and contentious. So if we had more disagreement there, we probably would not be able to be in a relationship together harmoniously. So
okay, I see.
But friends, yeah, I'm open to radicalizing them, sure.
Okay, got it. So I'm curious, who here considers themselves a feminist? Maybe just show of hands. Are you a feminist?
I don't.
That's it? Just Aaron and Pixie? Molly?
Yeah, Molly.
A little bit? Okay. All right. So Charlie, we've got some feminists here. What do you think of feminism?
I want them to define the term first, because there's no use in me giving thoughts on an abstract concept. So I'm all ears.
What's your sense? How do you define feminism?
Feminism is just simply the advocacy of equality, both social, political, economic, on the basis of all genders everywhere. So that's what feminism is to me.
Do you concur?
I concur.
Do you concur?
Concurred.
Okay.
So you want me to give a thought on that?
Do you agree with their definition of feminism?
That would probably be the most agreed upon definition. So I do believe in equality under the law, obviously. I believe in equality for representation or enfranchisement to be able to vote, obviously. But you said economic equality. That's interesting. Do you think that female models and male models should be paid the same by law?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so we should make female actresses and models be paid less because they earn about 20 times more than men.
I think when
so
you get
women
to,
would get a pay cut. You're okay
I think
with
when
that?
it comes to creative fields like that, it's going to be very difficult to look at it on the basis of like sex or gender, how you would pay somebody, because that's going to have so many more factors than simply that. But if we're talking about equal economic opportunities, like for example, should like a man and woman doing the exact same position at a corporate office be paid the same if they're doing the same amount of work? Then
Well, it
yes.
depends on what they study, depends how long they've been there, it depends if they're equally as good at the job, it depends
But
how...
all else being
Hold
equal,
on.
I'm saying if all of
Hold
those
on.
things are equal, can we at least agree they should be paid the same?
That's already the law. So you're not allowed to discriminate based on gender or sex, based on a law passed in the 1970s.
Right, yeah.
However, what is now being tried to be passed through other movements is to try to swoop in and say, regardless of qualifications, how often you ask for a raise. So I'll ask a question. Why do you think, for example, the average male, it looks as if they earn more than an average woman in a city? Is it because of sexism or other factors?
I think sometimes implicit bias can be one factor among many, but like all the things that you mentioned earlier, different qualifications, different business acumen, skills, work output, numbers of hours work could all be things that impact pay.
Right. So
and like studies that like focus on the gaps between men and women like do make note of these differences.
Okay, SkizTech, thank you for the gifted 100 subs. Charlie, do you have a response?
No, I hear that. I do want to actually get back to even more of a fundamental question, and I'm sorry I didn't ask this.
Sure.
What is a woman?
Oh.
A woman is somebody who presents as our social conception of womanhood.
So
acts in such a way.
So Pixie, just can you answer that question without using the word woman or womanhood?
It's because basically it would be a functional definition. So as a society, we have an understanding of what woman is.
What
It's
is
a
that?
man.
Yeah, that's basically.
I am a man.
Well then.
Can
you elaborate?
XY chromosomes.
Okay, but the problem with that is that I didn't check your chromosomes before coming in here and calling you a man, and you didn't check my chromosomes before coming in here.
Or genitals.
Or genitals, calling me a woman.
So let me just play this out. So first of all, you can't give me a definition without using the word woman.
That's a functional definition. Yeah, sure. Do you know what functional definitions
yeah,
are?
I'm very well aware, and you should have a functional definition for the most important question in civilization,
No.
right?
Well, the point of a functional definition, functional definitions are a definition that is by the function of something. So, like for example,
No, there's an objective
1 =
definition.
1 is like 1 is a function of 1. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do. So then, can you give me an objective, a functional, utilitarian, any sort of biological definition of what a woman is? Because
The problem
how
is-
can we debate feminism if we can't agree what a woman is?
I would even like, I feel like Pixie's definition absolutely satisfies the definition of what constitutes womanhood, but I would define it only slightly differently, which is that it's a person who performs a set of social roles that are typically associated with feminine characteristics, but not necessarily, because there are even cis women who fall outside of this, and we still consider them women nonetheless. Like butch lesbians, for example, are women that exhibit very masculine characteristics, but nonetheless society understands them to be women. So
I find cis to be a very offensive word, by the way. I don't know how you feel about the cis.
I don't
women.
think- I don't
I think
think
it's
too
hate
deeply about
speech,
that.
to be honest.
I didn't mean to trigger you, Brian. I would have given you a trigger warning before if I had
So
known.
do you think anyone can become a woman?
Yep, but not anyone will.
Okay, so then at what point do they become a woman?
It will depend on where they are in their gender transition for the most part.
Does it require drugs to become a woman?
No.
Personally, I think it's a mindset. It's a spiritual energy. It's the vibe that you give off. You know, like
The vibe. Before we continue on, I want to just give everyone an opportunity to answer No, totally fine. To answer Charlie's question, I know you two had already answered. What is a woman? Starting with you, we'll go around the table. Go ahead.
Can you skip me?
We'll come back to her.
I'm a woman.
That's the best answer. That's the one that Ketanji Brown Jackson should have given in front of the Senate.
So come back to you? Or?
Yeah, come back to me. Come back to me. Let me
Sure,
brainstorm
okay,
on
go
that.
ahead.
Same. I'm a woman.
What is a woman?
Like I don't.
What about you? Can I have you tilt your mic down just
Yeah,
a
of
tad?
course.
Perfect. Go ahead.
right there.
Yeah.
I'm a woman, but I also do think that a woman is someone who identifies as a woman, and that's that.
I mean, theoretically, it's someone who's born with a womb, but this generation obviously has proven that men can turn into women. So I'm not discluding that. I still think that they should be perceived as what they're portraying themselves as. But technically, I still think trans girls, they are a version of a man, but they can still be classed as a woman, which is a bit tricky, but yeah.
Molly?
I'll say the same answer. I think what constitutes as a woman is the energy that you give off and that you want to put out into the world.
So if being a woman or a female is a mindset, can your age also be a mindset? Can you choose to be, can you just say I feel 14, which is a classifiable mental condition, by the way,
So I will say, yes, I know people that act way younger than they actually are, and they love acting way younger than they actually are. And I know people that, like act way older than they are, and they, and they pride themselves in that. And I think. Okay,
fair enough. So if a 35-year-old man claims he's 14, should we have any problem if he wants to have sex with another 14-year-old?
No. I'm not saying that you should.
Probably should have a problem, I think.
No. I'm not saying that they should be able to have sex, but they can state, I feel 14.
Right.
They're allowed to state that.
Okay. Grid 1 Motorsports donated $200. The man who owns it paid himself 1.3 mil a day last year. He loves feminism. Today men acting female can be better women than real women. Feminism has failed you. How can the patriarchy help you today?
That was beautiful, Grid 1. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, he's so going back.
But if your identity is an energy or a feeling that can change, why would it be wrong for a 35-year-old to say he's 14? Therefore,
because he's not.
But then how is someone who has male parts a woman if he's not a woman?
That's two different things.
It's
Why?
different because you can't
a
go
mindset,
back
isn't
in
it?
time.
Your age isn't a mindset.
Yeah.
I mean,
but then why is your sex or your gender a mindset and your age isn't?
I don't know which one is which. One of you could probably say, but sex and gender.
Do you agree?
Is
At least acknowledge that sex and gender are two separate things.
So
that's what I was going to say.
There are 0 genders, 2 sexes, and infinite personalities.
What?
Okay.
Gender doesn't exist.
What do you mean?
Okay.
Sex does. So the parts you're born with is who you are.
How does gender not exist?
It's a 1960s clinical term, largely made out of the Academy of John Money and Alfred Kinsey and many postmodern child psychiatrists, many of whom, by the way, were not really great people, but we don't have to go into that. But gender is a new term of the last 50 or 60 years. So,
yeah, but it still exists.
But personalities exist. We can agree with that. Proclivities or interests or likes exist.
So by that definition, then if you're a woman or a man, is your energy. It is your personality.
Well, yeah, the goal, or what used to be the case, is the vast majority, 99.9% of all people, their biology and their reality, or how they viewed their reality, I should say, were in alignment. And now that's not so much the case. So people are, first of all, there's many elements to this. People are told that they can become something they can't. So they go on a very, very damaging, self-destructive pattern of medical interventions that even if you're pro-trans, you have to acknowledge that a hysterectomy at age 17 is not exactly an easy surgery.
I don't think anyone at 17 should be altering their body. But
no, I agree.
Yeah.
It's happening right now. Thousands of young kids across the country are getting what is called gender-affirming care, but it's irreversible
Care or
damage.
surgeries?
Both. So puberty blockers and hormone
There's
blockers.
thousands of kids that are getting hysterectomies across the United States.
No, thousands of kids are getting puberty blockers or hormone blockers or puberty blockers. Probably even more, tens of thousands.
You could stop using those, though.
And as far as breast reduction surgery or hysterectomies, we don't know the number, but I'll even say it's probably only a couple dozen. You're right, it's probably not thousands.
Right.
But we don't know the exact numbers, but an estimate is anywhere between 10 to 15,000 minors, and it's growing, are currently receiving monthly doses of hormone replacement therapy, estrogenic therapy.
Yeah, but you can stop those and be like...
Well, that's the question, right? There's a lot of detransitioners that are speaking out that are not able to puberty is not an assembly line that you could just push a button and restart. That is a increasingly disproven scientific theory right now. Chloe Cole is one of the most famous detransitioners she's in her 20s and she was sold a bill of goods, and when she was 16 she said, I think I'm a man, and she went on a very, very aggressive regimen of hormone blockers and puberty blockers, and she has huge regret, and hopefully one day she'll be able to have children again. But it gets back to a question of So I'm just making a point, though, that these ideas have consequences. It's more than just a silly question. Oh, what is a woman? That if you can't answer it, or at the very least say that you should allow minors to become adults before they make these decisions, then, and this is not a small thing, the quote-unquote gender-affirming care, we know that in California you have to be 18 years old to get a tattoo, and yet 14-year-olds can go to what we call a doctor and get a highly aggressive hormone replacement therapy treatment, sometimes without even notifying their parent. And all of these are ramifications of the inability to answer very simple biological questions.
I would be interested in seeing your exact study or citation for when it comes to puberty blockers, because I know a lot of people, or not a lot of people, there's a lot of people who end up on puberty blockers not because they're necessarily trans, but because they're going through puberty too early. And there are clear negative side effects and consequences of, let's say, a 10-year-old girl getting her period.
That's a separate. You're right.
But it's used on cis children. I think what you're talking about is precocious puberty.
But it's not used on perfectly healthy, physically able-bodied children, right? So there's a great book that I guess we have
Modest
to do this.
Hikima donated $200. Charlie, sorry you had to travel to California for the show. My boy did you dirty by putting you next to the demon, WTF?
I don't think you're a demon, by the way.
Props on the new Rick Rickson.
Okay, well, maybe you are a demon. May Christ be with
you are brain dead. Sad.
All right, Modest Hikima, good to see you in the chat.
I'll reference one book, and she's a non-political doctor. Her name is Dr. Miriam Grossman. It's a book called Lost in Transnation. She has treated, not just theorized. She's a clinician and a physician, not just someone who writes abstract medical journals. And she is one of the most outspoken people against what is called gender-affirming care, and she's treating hundreds of kids that are now damaged by this. So I know
detransitioners exist, but what do you say to the thousands of trans people that actually report happiness and being healthy after they receive gender-affirming care?
Don't doubt that in the short term, testosterone therapy from someone who has a fair amount of testosterone, it can make you feel confident. It can make you feel better in your skin. That is not a lasting effect, though.
But it is for some people.
Well, the suicide rate. I can't say that word. The self-harm rate after 8 to 10 years actually goes up. It nearly doubles, and we're still studying it. That's the other point. Is that I'm not going to throw around a lot of studies here. And they very well might be right. It might have helped them individually, but let me give you an example. If a medication is on the market and it harms 1 in 250,000 people, for example, Robitussin. You guys ever take Robitussin? No, it's a cough thing. It's they found that one of their lots of Robitussin last week might have been contaminated, and they did a massive recall, right? And it was just a whisper of it. Okay. The point that is in medicine, the first rule used to be first do no harm. And the fact
still is, right?
No, they've changed it.
The Hippocratic Oath?
They've changed it, yeah. They have.
Who's they?
The American Medical Association and a lot of the medical institutions. It's similar, but it's not the same.
They've been changed by woke ideology?
Well, you'd be surprised, actually. The medical industry's been taken over by a lot of radical forces.
All doctors are woke now?
Well, for example, when they were giving monoclonal antibodies in the city of New York, they were prioritizing people based on the color of their skin. Black individuals in New York got monoclonal antibodies above their white counterparts.
Was it based on the color of their skin, or maybe their background related to their socioeconomic status?
It was racial, but I don't want to get too deep into that rabbit hole. But the point that I'm just trying to make is that in medicine in particular, you must have a cautious approach, even if there were pluses and positives, which might very well be true. If there's even a 1%, a 2% adverse event, you pull the drug immediately, because you first do no harm. If there's something that is actively damaging a society, and it's now a certifiable fact that we see thousands of young kids are being told that they can transition, when in reality they have other underlying issues that we should address. Depression, trauma, anxiety, or they're on the autism spectrum disorder, and they get mislabeled on whether a TikTok video or some sort of other thing makes them feel as if they might have, a transgender issue, when they very well might have other issues that need to be addressed. 1 in 27 men young boys are autistic. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to
totally fine. I just had a quick question for you two, since you guys had pretty strong positions on this. Can men get pregnant?
Grid 1 Motorsports donated $200. If we want to talk numbers, then honesty requires we first admit that gender dysphoria is a mental condition which should be treated first before any physical treatments are given. Accuracy matters.
All right, Grid 1 Motorsports.
They no longer call it gender dysphoria, unfortunately. I would actually make your argument for you. They don't even call it a medical condition. They call it I actually don't even know what it's actually called. Gender dysphoria used to be the clinical term, but
they've changed it since.
yeah, that's right. But I can go deeper into that. The old way we used to treat this is called watchful waiting, where we believed that puberty was the solution, not the problem. And almost every single case, and Europe was actually the pioneer of this, is that when you allow puberty to play its course, these individuals, they might end up being lesbian or gay, but not transgender. And that's a completely different thing that doesn't require hormones or eventually antidepressants on top of it. I'm sorry, Pixie, you were going to say something. So.
Yeah, my question was, can men get pregnant?
Two things. I would say if you're a biological male, if we're going to define male through biology or whatever, then no. I do want to push back on some things that I heard earlier.
Well, before you do that, go ahead. Aaron, do you have a answer to the...
I would say yes, because anybody who has a uterus has the capacity to give birth. So, for example, a trans guy who gets pregnant, yes, would be a man who is pregnant. But if you're talking about a man who is assigned a man at birth and does not have a uterus, then no, he doesn't have the ability to get pregnant. You look at me like I'm crazy or what? Do you disagree?
But a lot of women...
So do you want to know why young men are going away from the left? That's why young men are leaving the left.
Why?
Because what you just said is...
Because they're uncomfortable acknowledging reality? Some trans men can get pregnant?
What you just said is at war with reality and, massacring...
I mean, a lot of women can't get pregnant either.
Vocabulary.
So that doesn't
yeah, exactly.
It's just a question, I'll let you come in just a sec, Pixie. Which one of you referenced chromosomes?
Me.
Is that, well, you said you didn't check our chromosomes, right?
Yeah.
Well, people understood what a woman was before chromosomes were discovered. So the definition does not require this type of abstraction.
People understood what a woman was on the basis of the societal norms at the time, generally speaking, right?
Well, it's more precisely, it's about the gonads. If you were at any point in your life going to produce large gametes, then you're a woman.
How society, at least most societies as well, outside of Western as well, but even Western, we can make this argument.
Okay.
What they would look at is the way that a person is necessarily performing. So what is their role? That's why you have the idea of non-binary, third gender, et cetera, because there have been people also who have not performed their role as a male or female. So they're put into the third category, third sex, whatever.
Okay.
So I would argue that for the vast majority of human histories and societies, what they look at is what is your performance. And that maps on to what we do now, because we don't really look at biology, we look at people act. That's why, let me finish.
Go ahead.
That's why we also, the terms less manly, he's less of a man than him, or she's not that womanly, makes sense. If gender was truly a binary, those words would make no sense. It would be like cat and not cat. That doesn't, you can't have a in between, really. And the same thing applies for gender. There is a spectrum there. That's why the words less womanly, more manly, less manly make sense to us.
And all of those things are fluid throughout time. What constituted masculine tendencies or behaviors will be different now than it was several years ago. Or even things like colors. For example, pink used to be considered a masculine color. Pink is no longer really considered a masculine color. It's considered a feminine color. So there was never anything inherently masculine about the color blue or the color pink or anything like that. That could always change at any given point in time.
Do you think that male brains and female brains, or men and women brains, are different? Wired differently?
There are differences between male and female brains, but I believe it's a matter of statistical averages of gray matter. There's not going to be distinct anatomical features that differentiate a female brain from a male brain.
Really? You really think that?
Well, no, it's proven scientifically.
Well, no,
when we
it's
take
not.
Yes, it is. When we take a brain scan of a male and female, the average doctor can't look and be like, that is a male brain right there.
Not true.
Now,
no, hold on.
Wait,
if
let me
you do a
finish my
SPECT
sentence, please.
scan, if you do a SPECT scan, you can see what parts of the brain light up. And in a woman, the basal ganglia and the amygdala is far more active, which is the inner thought matrix. Women have a far busier inner thought life than men do. Would you guys agree with that?
I agree.
Right.
I was going to say it's very...
So that's not true.
It's very well known that men generally are more on the logical side of things and women are more on the emotional side of things. And I think that has a big role, or the way that our brains are wired has a big role to play. I'm not saying that if you took babies who were completely unmolded that, their brains would look different. But I think as we age, living in the gender that we are given, our brains become attuned to certain things. And that's why parts of our
Yeah,
brain
like
light up.
piggybacking off of that
Yeah.
point, I don't doubt that the studies that you looked at did find differences in like brain mapping scans between men and women, but the key thing is that they looked at men and women. So that's already a brain that's been subjected to a lifetime, or not a lifetime, but like decades long
So do you-
socialization.
let-
So
I
that
just wanna
socialization is
make
going
sure-
to impact it. If you looked
Sorry, I don't mean
at
to
like a
interrupt,
brain
yeah.
scan of like infants, for example, like a male infant and a female infant, it would be like how different would it really
So-
look? Do you think it would look significantally different?
No, it's not even close. Of course, it's different, and I can prove it to you in two ways. But the first one, do you guys know the John Money gender experiment?
No.
So okay, I'll just really quick. John Money, who is a total creep, he believed that this is before we mapped the human genome. Okay, this is before we even knew about chromosomes. He said that men and women are blank slates at birth, and he said that they're formed through the toys we give them, the colors we appropriate to them, and they're blank slates. There was these identical twins. One of the twins burns themselves terribly in the genitals, and he said raise that twin as a girl. And basically his entire life he was tortured, and awful story. Eventually rebelled against John Money, and this twin eventually was told that, hey, you were born a boy but raised as a girl, and even had a vagina put onto you artificially. And he was like, instead of being mad, he was relieved, because he said, I knew I was a boy all along. So there's no clinical evidence to support that. Secondly, though, it's a funnier one, okay? Do you hear me out? And I think this will resonate with all of you. Harvard University locked a group of men in a room alone, 100 of them, and a group of women in a room alone, okay? And they said, what did you think about for 30 minutes? The men, no surprise, sex and sports. The young ladies, what did they think of for 30 minutes? They replayed conversations that they had in the last couple of days.
Real.
For the record, a man has never replayed conversations that they've had.
Do that?
I
Our
do that all
brains,
the time.
our
I do that
brains are
too.
different, everybody.
Do you really not do that?
I feel like I overthink
No, of
everything.
course not.
You don't
Hold
think
on.
about
I'm making-
conversations that
You've
you
never
have?
had like a shower arguments or like shower thoughts or anything like that?
No, and that's not society, my friend. That is biology. You are wired to have those rethought. We aren't. It's not a learned behavior. It's not about dolls. It's not about dresses. Our biology, our brains are made differently.
You've
I don't
really
think
never thought
anyone's
about a
disputing that we
conversation
have
after?
like different.
We don't
Yeah, no,
replay
I
any
agree with that.
conversations.
Ever.
Men
I
don't.
agree with
never,
that,
like,
but
done that.
The thing
Am
where
Am I trans? Because
people-
sometimes sometimes I will.
You gotta go on
Very
hormone
rarely,
blockers.
though. Very rarely. Sometimes, occasionally.
Men are
I'll
very
replay the
forward
conversation.
thinking. What is next? The job, the interview, tomorrow. And not saying women aren't. Women are very reflective. That's why females are better at poetry. Women are better at the more relational type aspects of being a nurse or an elementary school teacher. Again, that's not learned behavior. There is a biological element to it, and it starts with, we don't even understand the brain as much as we can. We understand like 1% of 1% of it. But I think that study and your reaction affirms it, because if I had a group of men around, you're like, what do you think of when you're alone? Like, I just think of the NFC Championship game, the stock market, and all the women I've been with or the women I want to be with. It's a little different.
Do you think if they had conducted the study in a different country, that the men and women would have given the same answers?
Yes, I think that these things are universal. And I mean, I can't say to that. That would be my speculation, that the men in Iran are thinking about soccer and Persian women, and the women are thinking about, what's going on in their local neighborhood. These things transcend continent, they transcend culture, and we know that because one of the arguments that you were making is that, at the fundamental root, these are learned and acted, these are put on by Western society, but you go into African villages, like very poor third world African villages, they don't even have a term for transgender. The idea that a man can become a woman or a woman can become man, this is a uniquely Western phenomenon that is born out of the academy, born out of college, that I will say, and I think we could agree, is largely they prey on people that have other underlying issues, and then it gets built on top of that. Autism spectrum disorder, depression, anxiety, some other sort of bipolar, schizophrenia, trauma, things of that nature.
There's a couple of things to push back here. Brian.
If you can, quick.
I don't
If you
mean
can,
to
quick.
monopolize. I'm sorry, Pixie.
No, it's
Yeah.
okay. There's a couple of things. I do want to push back on that because there are communities and cultures that we could search up right now in China, India, various Native American histories that have recognized the idea of third gender or outside gender that doesn't fit into this binary. So I wouldn't say it's just Western.
That is
and then
true.
on top
Wait,
of
let
that,
them answer.
No, but you please continue. You are right. I can address that at length. I don't think it's fruitful.
Okay,
But keep
okay,
going.
go ahead.
okay.
You're not wrong.
And then on top of that, you gave a case study. I kind of want to give a case study back. NPR did a article on this. I can't remember the name, but basically it was about a person who felt gender fluid. And when they felt like they were a man and they did things like facial recognition or other tests regarding that, they would score like a man does, like higher than most women. But when they got into the mindset of being a woman, they would score higher in woman-related tasks. So yeah, it does come back. You're saying like this is all predisposed biology, but there might be something to be said about like, oh no, if you're thinking like a man, the mindset of a man, maybe that's more in tune with certain ways of thinking versus thinking like a woman. That doesn't mean it's all 100% biological basis. It means that like, hey, if you're raised to think in a certain pattern, you're going to perform in that pattern.
I agree. I mean, if a society can mold you, of course, but you're dealing with very powerful raw material that's underestimated in the current cultural conversation. And you can only guide that raw material so much. So let me ask another hypothetical. I'll just tell you, if I sit down with men, what do they always talk about? They talk about macro concepts, big things, stock market, sports, things that are very, like let's just say bigger than individual. Women, if you sit down, they'll talk a lot about conversations or relationships, their kids, very micro. This, one of the reasons why men and women brains are different and they continue to be different is there's different skill sets. And I think we can all acknowledge that. Like men are better at some things than women and women are better at some things than men. I don't know why that is a wildly
the way that you frame it is like, oh, women are awesome at like small talk and like sewing or whatever, and then men are just awesome at like the stock market and being CEOs.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Why is it that the International Chess Foundation doesn't want biological men who believe they are women to compete with women? They say that will not allow trans men into the female category. Why is that?
I can't speak to that, but if you're going to talk about like representation being the thing that lets you know that, oh, men are obviously smarter, you could break this down to race.
I never said smarter. I said different.
Then different.
Women.
Okay, then we could say this.
My wife does things with my child that I can't even dream of doing, such as having an intuition, compassion, empathy. She can operate on 30 minutes of sleep. I need 8 hours, or else I'm like a dead.
Don't underestimate yourself, Charlie.
Hold on a second. No. Hold on. No, women have a different giftedness, I believe, given by God that is completely different than men. I never said smarter. In fact, a woman's intuition is far better than my intuition. I trust my wife's gut when it comes to people, when it comes to relationships, and she leans on me for investments or politics. We are given different gifting. Now, with that being said, some women have a gifting in that direction. Those are the exception, though. There is a general rule, and the general rule is that women are far more gifted at people and caretaking and the intimate. I don't mean that demeaning or derogatory. I never use the word smarter or dumber. You might be inferred. Oh, thank you, Molly.
Yeah. No, I actually very much agree with what you're saying. Me personally, I mean, sexuality is a big part of my life, and I think what you're saying actually really ties into a lot of like sexuality, because it's the man's role to be kind of like if you're talking like the nuclear family, it's like the man's role to kind of be the governing force of the family, take care of everything on the outside, take care of the finances, the stocks, all of that, and to kind of be the rock for all of the little things that the woman has to go through during the day. Just all the little conversations, all the things that she has to deal with that you're not there. And I think that, it's a really beautiful thing, like yin and yang, like there's
beautiful
parts of men that complement women, and there's parts of women that complement men. And the best thing is there's things that women can do that men cannot, and there's things that men can do that women cannot. And I think that the issue is we try and figure out like who's better, who's more powerful, who can, who gets to say what happens. And I think that the issue that's really dividing, and the beauty comes when you kind of bring those skills together.
I agree. That's wonderfully said, Molly.
That was beautiful, Molly. Let me switch to something really quick. We do have 2 chats we have to read, then we'll come back to this topic. We have Doc here. M. Scott Peck defined love as the act of promoting one's spiritual growth. The emotion of love is experienced when we act accordingly. Most of this panel confuses love with eros. Sad. Hey, Doc, thank you so much, man. Appreciate your support. Thank you. Good to see you back in the chat. We have Charlie Kirk fan. May I ask the panel, do you think the long-term benefits of commitment and monogamy outweigh the short-term dopamine hits that come with less committed, less loyal, damaging relationships / hookups? We can go around the panel really quick on that. Starting with you, go ahead.
Could you explain a little bit more? Give me a little bit more.
So can I tell them about dopamine?
Sure.
It's super good. So dopamine is called a neurotransmitter. It goes super fast, like 1,000,000 miles an hour. Not that fast, but like almost. Yeah, there you go. It is the reward molecule. So dopamine comes out when you have certain things, a rewarding it's forward-looking, right? So you actually don't get a dopamine release when you hit the climax. That's serotonin or oxytocin. It is in anticipation. So you're hungry, you're going for a good meal, or you're going to the next porn video, or whatever it might be. So the dopamine hits are addictive. So whatever gives you dopamine, you want more of. And your brain is really dopamine dumb, so it doesn't know when it's had too much. But we've learned in the dopamine science, I'm sorry to monopolize on this, but
go ahead.
there's
Totally
a great
fine.
book
Totally
by
fine.
a woman by the name of Dr. Anna Lemke, who did the best book on dopamine. It's called Dopamine Nation, is that for every interval you go up of dopamine, you must go down. That's why when people go really deep into dopamine, they end up getting into depression in the days or the weeks that follow. So you go to a rock concert, you're so overwhelmed, you might do some drugs, cocaine spikes dopamine, alcohol spikes dopamine, sex spikes dopamine. Your brain then has to interval back. So the next 4 days, you're like, I feel so low. There's nothing wrong with you. And so that's one of my arguments against pornography, is that without you know it, you're actually lowering your dopamine interval. So I hope that's helpful.
Thank you. It is. Can you repeat the question one more time with the actual question?
It's about do you think the dopamine hits are worth it?
The long-term benefits of commitment and monogamy, do they outweigh the short-term dopamine hits that come with less committed, less loyal, damaging relationships / hookups? For example, it might be very exciting if you're, jumping from one casual hookup to the next, but does that excitement outweigh the long-term benefits of commitment, long-term relationships, monogamy, etc.?
For me, I value, I want a long-term commitment. I want a loyal relationship, and I don't really do the hookup culture. I only have sex with whoever I'm with, whoever I'm dating. I feel like everybody's entitled to their own opinion as well too, but for me personally, I feel like it's not worth it, and I rather how do I put this into words? I'm sorry, I'm struggling with my thoughts a little bit, but that's my opinion on it.
Me personally, I enjoy that stability, but those are my personal preferences that I'm not really interested in imposing upon other people. So I think it really comes down to if hookups are the thing that make you happy or whatever, I don't see anything wrong with going that way.
I think I'm confused with the question.
Okay.
That was me too.
Pixie, what
I
about
was
you?
a little confused.
Yeah, I'm not into hookup culture, so.
Okay.
I also am not into hookup culture, but I personally think that, to each their own, if that's, again, what makes you happy. But I think kind of being single for a year and going on dates, I wasn't in hookup culture necessarily, but I was going on dates with multiple people. It can be a little depressing, for sure.
When you say you were going on dates with multiple people, what was in an average week, what was, how many dates were you going on?
I wasn't too date. It was, I was on Hinge, I was on Tinder. I would maybe have a date with 1 or 2 people a week. Sometimes for a few weeks I wouldn't have any dates. But yeah, it would be kind of depressing. You could, go on a date with someone multiple times and then it doesn't work out, and then, but I do think I do want something long term, because I don't think personally that is good for me because of the person that I am. So
Sure.
yeah.
What about you, Tina?
Long-term commitment kind of feels like prison to me.
Alright.
So I'm just chilling, doing what I want to do. I'm not a big fan of hookup culture, but obviously I do it for filming, so that kind of gives me what I need. But then I'm chilling.
Nick Schmexi donated $200.
Oh.
Hey Brian and Charlie,
Thanks, Nick.
will you guys post the stream after? I haven't been paying attention because I'm whacking off to Angel and Sophia.
Welcome to the Whatever podcast, where we should probably moderate these. Appreciate it, Nick.
I do have you all deserve better men than what America's producing. You really do. I mean
Subscribe.
that. You deserve better men than what this culture is producing.
Okay. Well, Tina, coming back to you really quick. I mean, in some of your pre-show notes here that you provided, you said, for example, that you guess you always end up sleeping through friend groups. Hot take could be that you're all for open, non-traditional relationships. You said at one time you left a guy asleep in your hotel room to go hook up with 3 other guys.
Girl boss.
It's true.
There's more there. I can
Slay
read
the
more. You also said commitment to one person is difficult for you.
Yeah.
I suppose it's good that you're at least self-aware. Do you care to elaborate a bit on that?
On which part? I don't know. There was a lot out there. The story though, yeah, I did once leave a guy in my hotel room. He fell asleep. He just kept dragging on about how I do OnlyFans, and you can tell that he was getting turned on by it. And my biggest ick is when guys are like so interested in what I do for work, because that's my work. So when I'm talking to you about it, I'm just talking to you like it's my work. So if you're like talking to me and you're kind of getting excited, you're thinking you're on a hookup or something, I'm just like, I'm so turned off. So luckily he fell asleep in my room. Luckily. I went for a shower because I was like, if anything's gonna happen, I may as well shower, be fresh anyways. I wasn't really into him, but I was like, sometimes you just have to put up with some things. But when I was in the shower, he fell asleep, and also while I was in the shower, I got a text from another guy that was in the hotel. There was an event going on, and he was like, come say goodbye to me. And I was like, okay. And I went up and we did our thing, and then while we were doing our thing, his coach and his manager were like knocking on his door to try get him to get on his flight because he had an early flight, and then they just joined in. And I like got a text then from the guy that was asleep in my room, and he was just like, did you leave? And I was like, yeah, I had to go say bye to a friend. And then I never heard from him again, but that was good though because he was a weirdo.
Haram! Okay, so that's pretty interesting. We'll come back to that later. Molly, did you have a response to the chat that came in?
Yes.
Okay, go
ahead. For me, I think that relationship stability and those little dopamine hookup hits come together. I kind of utilize both. So for me, like, I have sex for work with people that aren't my boyfriend. So, like, yes, it is very chemically draining after you have an orgasm. And, like, obviously you're tired. You're depleted of all of those crazy dopamine whatevers, and you get a little sad. So after my scenes, when I'm driving home, the only thing that's like, oh, like I'm not gonna be alone, like I'm gonna have my boyfriend, like we're gonna hang out and he's gonna love me, and like he's gonna be so proud of me because I did work today. And yeah, like it all just kind of ties in. Like if I didn't have those little dopamine hits, I would feel like I was in prison, and I'm sure he would feel the same way. So it all works out.
Oh, we have another one coming.
Modest Hikima donated $200. Charlie stole my usual question of what? Even wearing my Matt Walsh flannel NWTF. So, spawn of Satan, how much more traffic do you expect to Europe from nips rather than wearing clothes?
All right, they're spicy tonight, eh? Modest Hikima, thank you, appreciate it.
About 3% more traffic.
About 3.5% more traffic is what Molly's expecting. Charlie, it sounded like you were about to come in on something. Do you have something quick on that?
No, just look, dopamine is a very serious chemical. If you mismanage it, it leads a lot of people to self-harm and to depression. And so, but there are ways to healthily manage dopamine, and it is ways such as fulfilling work, purpose, relationships, a spiritual life, eating healthy, intermittent fasting, cold water exposure. So just be very careful for whatever it's worth. Not that you're going to listen to what I say, because if you start to overindulge in cheap dopamine hits, then you're going to need a bigger and bigger dopamine hit, and then eventually you get to a place where you can't hit that high again. And then you crater and you crash. And my prayer for all of you is that you don't have to live through that, because it's pretty dark.
I want to bring it back because the trans topic came up before, and if I can try to relate it to dating here, I do want to go around the panel on this. Do you, and I mean this could go both ways, but to the panel, do you object to a man not wanting to date a trans woman? Do you think that would be transphobic if a man did not want to date a trans woman? Starting with you, we'll go around the panel. Go ahead.
I don't think so. I don't think it would be transphobic.
No, and any trans advocate who says that it is like a psyop there to make trans advocates look bad. I don't think it's transphobic at all. It's perfectly fine to have genital preferences.
Okay.
Same.
Pixie?
Everyone's allowed to have whatever preference they want.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah, I basically agree as well. I just think it's preference.
Concur.
Okay. All right. Fair.
You don't need to know my answer.
Now, how about this, though, to kind of take it to another layer? You know, dating apps are incredibly popular. Most people are meeting online nowadays, on dating apps, social media, whatever. Do you think that somebody who's trans, whether trans man, trans woman, do you think they have a duty to disclose, for example, on a dating app, a duty to disclose that they are trans? And if so, at what point should they? You know, for example, should it be on their profile? during messaging, before a date is scheduled, on a first date, second date, before intimacy, after intimacy. Any thoughts on that, starting with you?
Personally, first off, I hate going first. I get a little nervous sometimes.
Yeah, I know, it's tough. You're in the hot seat.
I'm in the hot seat, but I don't mind. Well, personally, I feel like they should definitely before intimacy, definitely, and also maybe even before like they start building an emotional connection. Because if you want somebody to really accept you and love you for who you are, you should, be honest and come out with everything. That's what
Aaron,
I think.
Any thoughts?
I think that they should, but for that trans person's own safety, not necessarily for the benefit of anybody else. And as far as I know, most trans people already willingly disclose this because it's obviously something that's going to come up very quickly in their dating life. So,
I mean,
but I have a
why
question
not both? Por qué no los dos?
Well, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you think people should disclose their race
Should they disclose their race?
on a dating app?
I'm not totally sure how that's relevant, but
Wouldn't you?
I think isn't there race to some degree?
Race or ethnicity?
Evident.
Race /
bit.
ethnicity.
Like, should a mixed person say that they're half black?
What? I mean, I'm not really understanding
Why does
the question, but
Which part?
well, if they should disclose if they're half black.
No, I'm asking if you think that like people should disclose like race, ethnicity, like if you are half Chinese or if you're half black or anything like that.
No, I mean, this is not a topic I've really given thought
Erica
to, but
Kirk
here, I'll
Charlie's
let this-
wife donated $200. I love you, babe. I'm so
Do you have
proud of
bots?
you and so blessed to be your wife. Great discussion.
Is that actually Erica?
She's very busy right now.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
you,
Maybe,
whoever that
maybe
is,
Erica.
or
Okay.
Erica.
All right. Wait, what's that? Is it?
Yeah,
It's her. Oh, okay. Hey, Erica. What's up?
That's cute.
W's in the chat for Erica.
That's cute.
W's in the chat.
But you haven't given it much thought, but what's your
Sure.
gut reaction?
Should they disclose? Well,
Race, ethnicity.
I'm wondering. I'm thinking. I'm not on any dating apps currently, but I do think on Hinge, for example, there might be a section to. And I'm trying to recall if there is something where you can actually put your
I think
race, like
there
if you're
is.
Native American, if should somebody have
Yeah,
to?
but should they?
I don't think so.
Why not?
Why not? I think it's a bit different, though. I mean, it's certainly
It
different.
is different, but I think that kind of hesitation is kind of what you articulate from, like you're articulating perfectly what trans people feel like. Is that I know that they will
I think
do
it's
it,
a little
but
different,
that
though.
hesitation
I think
of,
it's
like, why
quite
they shouldn't
different.
have to.
I think it's quite different. But what I would like to allow everybody else to answer the question. So,
I forgot the question. What? Oh, if they should
like
disclose.
disclosure at what point should it be?
I think they
upfront?
should only for like. I mean, obviously the safety of them. I think.
Okay. Well, and
Yeah.
maybe also for the benefit of the
Well,
other person.
yeah,
although
of
it
course,
seems like
but-
Aaron, you object to. You don't
Well,
think
I
there should be
think-
any benefit to the person on the other side.
I think
mean-
there will naturally be a benefit to it, but I don't think you're entitled to know that information any more
You're
than you're
not?
entitled to know their race. Not starting off from the dating profile. I think eventually, yes, sure.
Well, if somebody, I'm trying to think.
In the same
trying
way,
to
like the
think
race
how to
ethnicity
tackle-
thing
how
was
to
like,
tackle that. But I think that can be very readily apparent just by
Yeah.
looking at their photos.
or like sexuality, for example, because you can't tell someone's gay or bisexual.
well, there is
right?
on Hinge. I do believe you can specify if you're straight, if you're bisexual.
But
Is it a red
Sure.
flag if they don't do that to you?
No, not necessarily. But I mean, even I think on your end, I think you're. And actually, I do think on Hinge there are these filters, and I do think you can include. I don't know if it's your skin color, your race, or whatever. I think it is your race or ethnicity. You can list it, and you can also filter by it. Same with sexuality too. There's certainly not something there for your actual sex, though. There's no. I mean, you can put your gender, but we know that. Well, that wouldn't necessarily indicate
That could be
what the
inclusive of
person's-
trans people.
Yes. So. Oh. Did
Wait.
you answer the question?
kind of.
Okay, Pixie, did you have something?
Yeah,
on
I
this?
basically was just saying like for the safety of them, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say you should, but only if you're like thinking about this person as like somebody who you're seriously gonna date. I see it similar to like, for example, like political orientation or whatever.
Sure.
Where it's like this is another reason why like I'm also not a big proponent of hookup culture, because it's like I feel like when people hook up, they're just hooking up. There's no necessarily like set of like morals or anything to follow like beforehand very much, because it's like a very casual encounter. People don't feel like they have those duties for each other.
Charlie's ex-wife donated $200. Hey Charlie, you better not be edging to Sophia or Angel right now. You've been looking a little too much. Anyway, see you later, babe. Exo kisses.
Do these make you uncomfortable, or you just find them funny?
I think it's hilarious.
Okay,
Okay, good. Because I was like, oh shit, is okay. Cool.
No, I got worried too. I was like,
No,
They're spicy
Guys,
tonight.
I live on the internet. I've seen a lot.
Okay, cool,
A lot
cool.
of things.
So
Thanks for being a good sport. I appreciate it. Go ahead, Pixie.
yeah, so I'll try to wrap it up. Basically, like if I'm on a dating app and like looking to hook up with someone, I would never, like what I said before, like someone who's a super hardcore Republican, I would not want to sleep with them. But they don't have necessarily an obligation to tell me their political orientation unless if I explicitly asked. So that would be kind of on me. But if I'm gonna start dating that person seriously, then it's like, oh, okay, like, yeah, we should talk about our values and be like open and transparent with each other. So that's my take.
What about you?
I agree as well. Yeah.
With who? With her?
With both of them, yes.
Okay. What about any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it should be disclosed for sure. If not, like in their bio, within the first few messages, I feel. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Molly?
I agree. It's definitely something that should be disclosed very early on in the relationship. I was going to say put it in your bio, but then you mentioned safety, and I was like, oh, that's a really good point. So, like, obviously you can't tell someone what to tell them about or to tell you about themselves. But if you're dating someone, you kind of have, like, a moral obligation to
Be honest.
be honest, be your most authentic self in front of them. And I think it's kind of deceitful not to tell them. I would feel like my time was wasted if I
Okay.
showed up to a date and they didn't say anything.
Sure. And I think probably most trans women they disclose up front, most of them, although I haven't, when I was back on the dating apps, I did encounter, someone was actually quite, on Hinge, how you can have prompts and answer prompts. Someone seemed very very political in their answers, and I forgot exactly what, but they were trans, and they said it's nobody's business to know if they're trans, which I thought was interesting. But I do think it should be disclosed pretty much as soon as possible.
When you say encounter, it sounds like you're like Pokemon hunting and you found like a rare Pokemon or something in the wild. What about religion?
There's also
There's like a category.
you can put religion on there.
Do you think that people should you have to identify yourself as a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim or atheist?
No, I don't think you should have to, but I think it's certainly very different. I would imagine, I think somebody might feel a little bit more bamboozled if they turn up to a date and this person's actually a male, that as compared to someone omitting their religion.
Religious convictions are very personal. Like Charlie was saying,
Sure,
you
but-
probably would not date somebody who is not also an evangelical
Right,
Christian,
but it's
right?
a bit more of a bamboozle, I think. Like, if it's so important to you that you go on a date with somebody who's your same religion, I think there is some burden on the person who really cares about that they should ask. And if the person omits it from their profile, I do think, though,
Then why
it's a
can't
different
that be,
bamboozle.
like,
It's a
the
bit of a
soci-
different bamboozle.
It's different, but like, is it different enough to warrant a different social protocol? Is all I'm asking.
I think so. I think so.
I think the deal
so.
breaker or you communicating the deal breaker should lie on yourself, basically. If something's a deal breaker for you,
Yeah,
I
maybe
think
you
it's
should
your
have to put no
responsibility
trans
to say
people in
it.
your bio.
Honestly, I feel like
I've
on a
seen
lot of
it.
these dating apps, you might get banned if you were to even in the most diplomatic, polite way, if you were to say that, I do think you might get reported and banned.
Because even on, this is Grindr, so this is like gay men or whatever, but
Grindr.
there were men putting like no Chinese, no Asian people. That's why I made the comparison between race. I don't believe that they banned those,
Okay.
but it's a prevalent thing within bios to see that sometimes on those profiles. And
Yeah, but
there you go,
Grindr is a
you know.
very like hookup app.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Well, I think most of these apps are hookup apps, unless if you.
But hold on, you said the Chinese thing. Like when you say Chinese, do you mean like are all like specifically Chinese?
That's an example of what Grindr was seeing in their users, that people were saying specifically no Asian / no Chinese or like no Japanese. They were specifying specifically by ethnicity.
Because there's different kinds of Asian, you know, there's Thai,
Korean, there's Chinese,
Vietnamese, Laos.
No, yeah, well, these racist people to me were
Indonesia.
like going so far as to specify specifically
Malaysia.
which Asian ethnicity.
Mongolia,
You can keep going.
It's a beautiful
South
culture.
Korea.
Yeah, so many.
North Korean,
Well, that's why they did Asian,
Japan,
but
China.
When you say
China.
Philippines.
Taiwan. I
you
missed
list them all?
Philippines. Are you Filipino?
I am, yes.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, Captain.
I'm a captain, your
Lieutenant.
lieutenant donated
Lieutenant, okay.
$200.
Oh, my-
Sophia, it's been
Oh.
over a year since you went viral
like
for
this,
failing
okay.
to answer this question. Can you now name 10 books? Rest of panel plus Charlie, name 3 books. You can't repeat an answer or use a series.
So you kind of went a little bit viral.
A little bit,
while
tad bit.
Somebody asked you to
Somebody.
name 10 books.
Yes.
Name 10 books for us, Sophia.
And
Go
I
ahead.
wasn't able to name it. I still can't name it. I'm not a big book fan. I don't like
Let's go.
reading.
Let's hear it.
I like
Let's-
podcasts. I like listening
Podcasts?
and I like a visual.
Sure.
You know.
I'm with you.
Can they be
Visuals way
kids'
better.
books? Good Night Moon, The Hungry Little
You got-
Caterpillar.
whoa, don't help her, don't help her
I
out.
got some kids books. There's like Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Oh,
Okay.
Wait, okay.
Right?
Let's
You need
let's
me,
do a
Jones,
count. Okay,
right?
so that's one.
Oh, we're actually doing 10.
No, there's
Yeah, you
like
gotta go
6,
10. You
There's
gotta
6
do 10.
Diary of a Wimpy Kids. That
Kids'
counts as
books,
6.
something.
Literally the Bible.
You got this. You got this. Sophia. Go
Power.
ahead.
Bible counts.
Power,
What-
Art of Seduction. Isn't that a book? Art of Seduction? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Greene. Yep.
I'm gonna say
That's
what
3.
I said. Okay, is it valid what I said in the podcast? Have you guys?
I
seen
don't.
it?
Just repeat.
So
it.
I said the Game of Thrones series, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna air myself
That's
out.
well, we can only one. That only counts as one. You can't do this.
All the
A
Harry
feast,
Potter
A
books.
Feast for Crows, Clash. What are they?
Fire and Ice or something.
Fire and Ice. Yeah.
A Song of Ice and Fire. You
Song
can
of Ice and Fire.
only one book from like a
Yeah.
series. Okay.
Okay, that's fair. And then I said the Twilight
Feast for
series.
Crows. right?
Twilight.
Twilight. Okay, that's 5. What else? You went viral for the. You should
We're gonna be
You should be
here.
ready.
No. That's the thing. I had a choice. I was like, I was either gonna be ready or I was just gonna stay true to myself
Okay, 5 books.
and be
What else you got?
honest.
What else you got?
You already have 4.
Okay.
One more.
Think movies. A lot of movies are based on books.
Yeah.
That's true.
Why are you giving her? Stop giving her layups. Let her think.
Can I? Okay. How about let me brainstorm some.
Brainstorm.
You can get back to me maybe in like an hour or so.
Or required reading in school.
How about 3 more? Just 3 more, and then we'll move on.
3 more? You guys really want
3
me to
more
name 10
books.
While
3
you're
more books.
brainstorming,
Think of
I'll
it-
just say that the average American has not read like more than a book in the last year or so. So don't feel too bad. That's an indictment of like everyone in this country.
To
not
be
just you.
fair, a lot of people came up to me saying like I can't name 10 books on Spot either. And a lot of people
Can
Maybe
you-
it went viral because
Wait,
it's relatable.
Can you name 10 rap artists?
Oh yeah.
Go, 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 go.
Easily. Lil Uzi, Cardi, Lucky. Man, there's so many. Okay,
Nicki.
Nicki. Wayne, Kanye,
Bae's husband?
God, I'm on the spot right now. I hate being put on the spot. This is why I should stop doing podcasts.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z,
Cardi B.
Cardi. Oh no, not
Does
this.
Cardi have beef with right now?
She said.
Yeah.
Autumn.
Oh, never mind.
Is
Is that 10? Has that been 10?
Ben Shapiro.
Oh,
He
sorry.
raps now.
Yeah, rap god Ben Shapiro.
I'm an
There you go, beautiful. Okay, moving on. She made her. It was a good effort.
It was a great effort.
A for the effort here.
I'll
Okay.
take the A for effort.
All right,
So
now it's
wh-
Brian's turn. Name
what-
10 countries. Like
Name
that.
10
Oh, no, yeah.
countries.
Yeah, come on. You were doing all the Asian ones. I just thought you were really
Should I
ready
start
for
with
this.
Azerbaijan, Austria. Let's maybe B, Burma.
Armenia.
Is that still? Wait, is Burma still?
Yeah, Burma. It's also it's
C, Cameroon, Cambodia. Let's go to D, Denmark. Let's go to F, Finland. Let's go to G, Germany, France, Luxembourg, Liechtenstein. That's my personal favorite.
I've been there.
You're good.
The Netherlands, the Gambia, Russia,
Beautiful.
Is that 10? Was that 10?
Yeah, I think that was
That was
Flying
past
colors
that.
Thank
here.
you. Okay, that's.
I wish I could answer that confidently.
I think his strategy of the like A, B, C is like
I think
helpful.
that is smart.
It helps out a little. Okay, all right. Wait, so we were on the. I think we kind of finished this.
I'm a books.
Going back to politics a little bit here. Going back. Would you date somebody who's pro-life? Starting with you. I know it's hot seat, but.
Oh man, why do I always gotta go first? Yes.
Into the mic?
Yes,
Okay.
I would.
Yes, because you can be pro-life and still pro-choice. And there's as long as they're pro-life and not anti-choice, that's to me the key distinction.
Wait, can you clarify? I'm a little
could you be
confused.
both?
There are plenty of Democrats. If you poll Democrats, like for example, like a lot of Catholic Democrats, are Joe Biden, our own president, personally is pro-life, so he would not feel comfortable probably having a wife that submitted herself to procure an abortion, but is okay with it being legal. And I think that's the important distinction, not whether or not they personally are. So yeah, sure.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I think generally. I don't know. It depends. If they're super pro-life to the point where it's like, oh, the mother's health is at risk and you still shouldn't abort, then I'm like, whoa, slow down there, buddy. I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay.
But without those extremes, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree about the extremes. If they are too extreme, then maybe no. But I would still date someone who's pro-life if they weren't too extreme.
Okay.
I'm kind of the same. I don't think it becomes a problem unless I get pregnant unexpectedly and then I don't want the child. But I'm sure if it was a good relationship anyways and I get pregnant, I would want the child anyways too, even though I am pro-choice. I don't think it gives that much of a conflict, obviously depending on the circumstance. But
Molly?
I agree. You can be pro-choice and pro-life at the same time, and that is really the only way that I would be able to be in a relationship, because I'm pro-choice, but I can also respect that the person that I love is not.
Okay. Charlie, any thoughts here?
Yeah, I'm just curious, when would you guys say human life begins?
That's like a philosophical question for the ages.
When there's a heartbeat.
Just casually ask.
When there's
Well-
a heartbeat.
or no, I guess in the
See,
uterus.
now we have 3 different answers.
Yeah, actually.
So we have I will presume, a group of women, because you all self-described as women. I'm kidding. When does life begin?
Heartbeat.
I'm gonna still stay at birth, even though I know that your cells can be forming a brain and stuff in the uterus. But yeah, I think you're not fully a human until you're born.
Okay. And you said heartbeat, right? Okay.
I think it's very difficult to answer. I think mostly consciousness and personhood is really what people are seeking to identify. And I believe, I'm sure you happen to know, how many weeks was a full term of pregnancy?
It's a good question. I know very well. It's about 38, 39 weeks. 40 is like at the furthest of gestation.
40 weeks. So as far as I know, like around 30 weeks is when you see like typically like most development of the fetus has taken place. So I would say like around
way
there.
earlier than that, but yeah. So heartbeat is right around 6 weeks. Brain waves are even before that. And you could do an ultrasound at right around, you could start to do ultrasounds at 8 weeks and you could see the full being right around 12 weeks. And right around 25, 26 weeks are now the earliest cases we have of babies that are able to survive outside of the womb. Does anyone have any other answers on that? Of when?
Well, I mean, I'm not like educated scientifically enough about the biology of all of it, but I agree. I think that life is a very subjective term. You know, you could say when does the infant's body in the womb start functioning, or you could say when do they start perceiving their consciousness. And for me, it's when they start perceiving their consciousness, but truly I have no idea when that is.
Do you think it would be important to? Let me ask you this: if you knew for certain the baby, would you agree it's a baby? Is that a good term to use if it's in a womb? Is that a baby?
I think most people would say fetus.
Probably fetus. Yeah.
Okay, so what does fetus mean in Latin?
I think a fetus is a growing child. It's a
Yeah,
developing
you're right,
child.
Molly. You know it means a little human.
Yeah.
It's just using fetus is nothing more than a cope for what you know it is. It's a baby, right? So it's just
obviously not if we're here debating it. I don't think it's as settled
then
as you
don't
think
have
it
to use
is.
the word fetus. It makes people feel better. It's obviously a baby.
No, I mean, obviously you wouldn't take like, fetus that just has like a heart and like their brain isn't fully formed and be like, that's the same as like a 1 month old.
Yeah.
Like we obviously see differences between development from then and there.
So, but then how about 30 weeks?
That's where it becomes a lot more contentious. But the point being is that we don't look at a fetus from its beginning stages and be like, yeah, that's the same thing as my like 3-month-old cousin.
Hold on, that's a 9-month-old is not the same thing as a 1-month-old.
Okay,
right? So you can go through the progression of development continues. The question is, when does it start?
Yeah, that's $1 million question. I agree with that.
So
Do you think conception?
Of course, that's the only answer.
Most women, I don't believe, even know that they're pregnant before 6 weeks.
But
so like around like the heartbeats and
but
stuff like that.
the knowledge of your pregnancy doesn't mean that you're not pregnant.
No. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying like practicality-wise, there are many instances of women who have miscarriages without even ever knowing, because it might just present as like a very heavy cycle that month.
That's fine, but it doesn't make it any less a life, right?
I
Sure,
have
go ahead, Molly.
No, but would you mourn that miscarriage in the same way you mourn like
100%,
an
yes.
abortion, like a conscious choice?
Not the same way. No, it's not the same way. No, but it's still a tragedy. A miscarriage is a tragedy, but
So
an
do you-
abortion.
Even if she doesn't know about it?
But an abortion is an act of human will. A miscarriage most times is not. Now, sometimes it can be a miscarriage because you drank alcohol and you didn't know you were pregnant, or you might have taken a drug that have side effects. But yes,
I have a
a
question.
miscarriage is a tragedy. Yes.
I have a question. So, do you care about the children once they're born?
I mean, I care a lot about them. Yeah. I do.
So if say a woman got R-worded or something, or even if she just got pregnant and
Grid 1
wanna
Motorsports
keep
donated $200.
Right?
Life is not subjective, and we know this because you were
Anyway.
speaking of killing.
Yeah, just
Why is it so easy for you ladies to kill kids? If your comfort
What a
and
good faith
lifestyle
question.
more important
I'm
than
not
a life
talking
you
about it.
have created?
anyway, my question was, what was I saying? Oh, if
you were saying
so
if somebody
someone got,
someone
like,
forced
R-worded
sex upon
or-
themselves. It's the
or
word you're.
even like not even just that, but say like if the mother like was homeless or something, say
Mm-hmm.
like she didn't have a good life, do you still think that child deserves to be brought into the world just to suffer?
Well, so it's not a guarantee of suffering. Number one. One sec. The answer is yes. The life should be brought into the world. There are twice as many people on the adoption waiting list than.
There's so many people.
Well, let me ask you guys, and I don't. I'm just curious. How many abortions do you think there are a year in America?
I have no
Tens
idea.
of thousands, I assume.
Any other guesses?
No, I have no clue.
What if I told you there was over 1 million abortions every year?
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
But you went from tens of thousands to 1 million.
I mean, there's billions of people on the
No.
on the
Yeah, there's
so-
340 million in America. That's right. No, but do you think does it?
As far
does-
as like reported ones, because even
that
just
doesn't
reported
count-
data is going to be incomplete
that
because
doesn't count mifepristone, which is the chemical abortion that people
Right.
get at home. It doesn't count Plan B, right? So,
and even if like abortion were illegal, for example, we stopped gathering data on like who procures abortions, there would be so many. There's so many now, even
Well,
with
not
states
true.
where it's still legal.
Texas, it's gone down
Even-
dramatically. So hundreds of
No,
thousands.
they're still happening. It's
Well,
just
no, they're happening,
not
but
being accounted
about
for.
90%
Women are
abortion.
just doing it to themselves.
Right, it's a 90% abortion reduction rate in Texas. I don't want to dwell on that too much, though. So there's 1 million abortions every single year, and there's twice as many people on the there's 2 million people actively on the adoption waiting list. So there's really no such thing currently, there could be, but currently, of an unwanted child. So there's 2 million people wanting to adopt, and there's 1 million people that have abortions every single year. So there's twice as many people that want to get a child. Now, there's a longer conversation about making it less bureaucratic without allowing bad people to adopt kids for bad reasons. I'm perfectly open for that conversation. But to answer your question, I don't love the premise. It's a really good question because a lot of people have it. I don't necessarily believe being born in poverty is a death sentence or is a reason to
Of
terminate.
course not.
No. But abortion is a death sentence. So I don't think poverty should give you a death sentence.
Would you say abortion is murder?
Oh, of course, 100%.
Do you think that people who procure abortions, women specifically,
Yes.
a woman who procures an abortion should go to jail for getting one?
Absolutely, yeah. They're the moral equivalent
Wow.
of Auschwitz.
Really?
Yes.
I kind of
Millions
want
By the way,
millions of women are,
No,
are
not the
basically
women.
the same as like Nazi
Not the women.
death
No,
camp
the
guards.
women are victims. They're lied to. 90% of women do not see an ultrasound before they have an abortion. They have no idea what's happening to them. They're the victims here. It is the abortionists that are doing this. But let me ask you, and I mean this, have you guys ever seen an abortion on a video?
Wait, no, I'm sorry. If women are the victims here, why should they be jailed?
Well, I don't believe they should be jailed. I
You
think
just said
the
they should be
abortionists.
jailed.
How is it that
the
you could
abortionists,
believe
the
that abortion
doctors-
is murder,
But-
but a
no, no.
murderer shouldn't
No,
go to
no,
jail?
I didn't say that. The doctors, the abortionists, the people that call themselves doctors, the people that put women under general anesthesia and go into.
But women do, they ask
They
for
are
it.
doctors. They're medical.
Are you going to just discount the
current-
accountability of the woman in
My
that
current
decision?
perspective is because the women are not given what is called informed consent, that the women should not be penalized. They should not be. They shouldn't be penalized. In fact, they should be given grace from a system that has lied to them and has misled them. They are not given the full picture of exactly what's happening to them. Informed consent has not happened, so these women are the victims. The abortionists, one second, the abortionists are the ones that know exactly what's happening. And if you haven't seen a video of an abortion, I'm not going to say anything too graphic. It is one of the hardest things to watch. The baby fights, the baby struggles, the baby dodges, the baby avoids. They break the neck of the baby. They euthanize it to the spring. It's not a joke.
Sorry.
And then they tear it limb from limb through there. If you're trying to tell me that's, you know,
That's like a
If you're talking
full-grown
about,
child.
yeah, like
Hold
they're
on,
called
no, no, no.
dilation and extraction abortions,
No.
then yes,
Hold
it
on
can
a
look like
second.
that. But if you're talking
a baby
about,
has a backbone at 6 weeks and a spine. It has a complete figure. It's small. It's like probably as small
the
as.
size of like a grape, yeah.
Yes, but by 8 weeks or 12 weeks, and you're talking about.
But the vast majority of abortions are performed in the first trimester.
Yeah, that's right.
So when you
and
just
so when
the
it-
type
when
of
is-
abortion that you described
trimester
is
was up to
literally
12
the
weeks.
like minority
Hold
of
on
the
a
time,
second.
and those are wanted pregnancies
said- you
because
said they
usually
don't-
those women want those pregnancies. They weren't able
They
to
don't
carry
know
them
they're
to term
pregnant till they're 6 weeks, to
because
your point.
they weren't able to carry those children to term because of health risks to their own life or to the infants.
Right. So, without getting into that, no infant should be terminated because of health risk to the infant. Okay, that's insane. It's like you're going to kill the baby because the baby has health risks. That
Not
doesn't-
just health risks. These are
Oh, let me ask you.
these are medical.
Hold on, Down syndrome.
like
Should we
stillbirths
abort
or
Down syndrome kids?
No.
Iceland has. They said if you have Down syndrome, you're done. So that's not a new phenomenon. They have gotten rid of Down syndrome. If you have a DNA test of Down syndrome, they abort the kid. I think that's cruel and unusual.
That is.
Yeah.
Okay, we agree. Good.
I think there are frivolous reasons to procure abortions, but I don't believe that just because there are frivolous reasons to get them, that means it should be outlawed.
But should murder be outlawed?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like you were saying,
Then
you even though you believe that those women have a hand in committing the murder and infanticide
They
basically
don't-
of their own children, they
They
shouldn't go to
don't
jail.
believe they have not been given informed consent.
Do
They
you
don't
have
know
that
what's
opinion
happening
with
to them.
people who are addicted to drugs?
Would-
Do you
I-
think only
I
drug
think-
dealers should go to jail, but not
Well,
people who
it
actually
dep-
try to buy drugs and
Well,
consume
it depends.
them?
It depends what drug it is. It depends the category, the class, the
Is there a single
repetition.
drug where you would say that somebody who is buying and consuming drugs that they are addicted to should not be going to jail, but only their drug dealer should be going to jail?
I mean, I think fentanyl and heroin potentially, but it's a completely separate issue because a lot of people know the informed consent of heroin and fentanyl. It's not. We have PSAs, we have billboards. Stop using fentanyl. Stop doing fentanyl. How many times have you heard that? Have you
Tons,
ever?
but they have a
Hold on,
chemical
hold on a
dependency
second.
now that prevents them
Hold on
from
a
being
second.
able to make that
How
choice.
often have we ever had an honest conversation with women in this country saying that having an abortion increases the chances for depression, anxiety, medication dependence?
So does having a kid.
Well, hold on.
Having children carries all of those same risks.
You think having
the money
children?
that goes into it.
You think having children
No,
is?
don't mischaracterize me.
No, that's
I'm
not true at
I'm
all.
not going to
When-
say that
women-
having a child necessarily gives you depression
Women who
or
have
any
children-
of that.
That's what
but
she
it
said.
It can
Yeah.
come with it.
It
Like
can.
postpartum depression, for example, is
Is it
extremely
so?
common
It's
among young women.
temporary and short-lived, and obviously
Not always.
For
Some
some
Fires.
people last
So
years.
is the depression
that's
from
temporary
abortion.
and short-lived. That's not permanent.
You
Yeah,
think
but when you're
years
in that,
of living
you're
with
not-
postpartum depression can simply constitute a temporary
Wait, so
medical
let's,
issue?
Let's theoretically even grant. So you're saying because of potential postpartum depression or financial burdens, the moral answer is allow women to go in.
No, that was never
to
my
clinics.
argument. This had
Okay.
nothing to do with morality. This was a completely separate question. I'm only saying that I feel like you're trivializing and downplaying how serious conditions like postpartum depression can be when you want to write it off as
No,
like a
it's
temporary
obviously-
medical
it's obviously
issue
real.
when it can be years-long battle,
Look,
especially if it's
having
left
children is a
untreated.
serious choice. So what percentage of abortions, according to the Guttmacher Institute, are not rape, not incest, and not life of the mother? What percentage would you
Probably
say?
the vast majority.
97%.
Yeah.
So is abortion now birth control, yes or no?
No, I don't think so.
I
But-
think that's situational to each and every
Molly,
person.
do you think that birth control, I mean, it could be called birth control in certain
Because
situations?
you're talking about over 1 million abortions, but there's tens of millions of women that are on birth control, that are that have IUDs, that take birth control pills. So obviously, that's not the only reason why.
But it's a
Or
form
that's-
of birth control. Is
It's
it
a
not?
form of birth
Because
control,
they're
sure,
not,
but
they're-
you
okay,
acknowledge that it's not
it.
the predominant form of birth control.
Well, no, I didn't say that. Hold on. I said it's birth control.
Yeah, but we're not disagreeing with the category.
Hold on.
I'm talking
So
about the
therefore,
prevalency of
if
it.
it's birth control, then why would we allow it to continue if it's not? If you put the rape, incest, life of the mother, which we can debate.
I
which
didn't.
But no, I'm going to put that aside for a second. Then why should we allow a horrific procedure to continue that has such heavy and dire consequences and results in a child not being able to live outside of the womb?
Because that's
You're
someone's
loading it
choice.
so much by
Horrific.
saying a
Okay.
horrific procedure.
Hold on,
Most
so-
women who procure abortions actually report being happy long term because they made the choice, because there's many different reasons why women get abortions. Some women aren't in a financial position to have a child at that time and actually decide to have children later.
How'd they get pregnant?
What do you mean? They had sex unprotected
So
or
wait,
an accident.
So they want the orgasm without the responsibility.
Do you think the majority of women are having orgasms in sex? Are you serious? Have you seen the studies on orgasm gaps between men and women?
I'll be honest. So they want all the pleasure. They want all, but it's you want all the loose lifestyle, but none of the responsibility.
Now you're framing it like the punishment for having it should
Hold
like
on, it's a
orgasm should be
punishment?
punished. No, the way that you're framing it, which
No,
is
it's
that
not a punishment.
oh, you
It's
want the
called a cost.
loosey-goosey parts of sex,
Hold
like
on.
the
If
orgasm,
you-
but you don't want the responsibility of a child. It's like, yeah, some people want to be able to have sex.
Okay, no, you
and,
articulate it
not have
perfectly.
kids.
I'm going to be able to have sex how I want, and if I have to go put a dagger through, or have someone put a dagger through a child for me, then so be it.
Sure,
think?
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that you're being morally clear, and basically it's my body. I can do whatever I want with it, even though. Let me ask you a question.
Even though, like I said,
if
most women
it's-
don't regret their abortions
Okay.
at all. Like the vast majority of women report happiness
Yeah,
and being okay with their decision.
I
I'm
find
sure
that
you think
hard
that
to
they're
believe.
lying or they're
Wait,
indoctrinated
I have
or
a
wrong
So,
or
but
delusional.
if it's
yeah.
not your DNA, how is it your choice?
What?
If it's not your DNA, why is it your choice?
It is.
Definitely
No,
is.
Because
the
child
baby
has to
has its
carry
own
the
DNA.
child to
It's already in your
gestation.
partner's DNA, and then it forms into
It has
when
its own
birth.
unique DNA that's not yours.
Here, it's part
this
of
is-
your DNA. It's
this is
50-50.
my
It's half. Oh, so should the man then be able
Hold
to
on.
have veto power over abortion?
Well, the point is the man isn't the one incubating the child. So
But I thought if it's about
my-
DNA.
If you
but
get
I never made the DNA argument. You did. The argument that I was going to make was, or I was going to ask you the question: do you think another person has a right to your life and your body?
Does another person have a right to? Well, technically, because abortion was legal when I was in utero, someone did have a right to my life and body.
Oh, hey,
And my mom chose life. Praise God. So did all your moms.
yeah.
My mom
the
actually wanted an
argument.
abortion.
Are you glad that she didn't have an abortion?
No.
So you would rather be dead?
I don't know. I mean, life can be
If
difficult.
she
I'm not
didn't
gonna
exist,
I'm
you
not
would
gonna
not
be
be
that
able
deep.
to even
It's an
know what you
asteroid on
never,
that one.
Yeah.
what you never materialized.
A couple people wanted to come in really quick. It looked like you wanted to come in. I'd like to give you an opportunity to speak. Then I think you had more Pixie than Molly. Go ahead.
It was just backtrack just on what he was saying
Go
on
for it.
not wanting to have the responsibility. I think that's really, I don't really think that makes sense because I don't think sex is just for reproduction. It's just like asking you, like every time, I'm not trying to bring in your wife, but every time you have sex with your wife, it's purely for reproduction. I feel like that is very inaccurate. So I mean, it's hard to expect everyone who isn't in a marriage to just not have sex just because they don't want to get pregnant or just because they don't want to have that responsibility.
Wait, did you even make the argument that sex is purely
No,
for...
I didn't.
I don't think you did.
But Angel's making a good point, and I want to give her credit for this. What she's saying, and it could be misunderstood that I was saying sex is strictly for reproduction. What I was saying is that everything in life has consequences and choices, right?
Correct,
And
yes.
at times, the mainstream predominant narrative is that sex comes with almost no downsides, and we're going to give you either the technology, the procedure, or whatever to try to limit those downsides. But the difference is that when my wife and I have sex, if she results to be pregnant, which she did, is that we live with that consequence, which happens to be a positive consequence, right? A huge blessing. Now, I understand what I'm saying is very, very radical and very unpopular, but the ideal should be far less people having premarital sex and trying to have sex within marital guidelines, or at the very least monogamous guidelines, okay? So that if there was to be a pregnancy, that baby could be loved and cared for and brought into this world. I understand it's a hard ideal to even grasp and comprehend in a world where everything is very sex positive and sex abundant, but it's an ideal that I defend nonetheless.
I mean, I don't think there's anything that's in contradiction with being sex positive, but also wanting to help prevent unwanted pregnancies. I would just say to those women and those people having sex that you should be using birth control and family planning methods to make sure that you don't have any unexpected pregnancies that you don't want to have. To skip the abortion part altogether. I don't think anybody loves their abortion. I only said that people just don't regret them.
Are you guys familiar with what's happening with the chemical abortion craze that's going on right now?
No.
The pill that
No, not the pill. That's different. I'm talking about where they're mailing chemical abortion packets.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where women are bleeding out and emergency room visits are up
What?
nearly 300%. You guys should look into it. It's a very serious thing.
But why is that?
Because,
It's
abortion,
becoming harder to
about
get
to say it's
abortions.
because women don't have access to safe abortion, so they
That's-
start resorting to these sorts
There's
of
no
methods
such
that are
thing as
way
a safe
dangerous.
abortion. Let me be
Yes,
honest.
there
Okay.
Really? You
But
just
it's
said that
safer when it's
there were
legal.
millions of women that got an abortion, but you're going to say that none of them were,
And
all of them died after?
All the babies did.
But did the women? Is it safe? Is it unsafe for a woman to procure an abortion?
But it doesn't. Well, hold on.
Answer that question. Is it unsafe for a woman to procure an abortion?
Every single
You
abortion.
know it's not unsafe, that's why
every-
you won't answer
hold on
that.
a second,
Hold on,
a
let
second.
them answer,
Every
let them answer.
single abortion has a victim necessarily, and many times has a woman full of regret that we are now seeing, and I'm not going to make up numbers out of nowhere, but there is a growing community of abortion regret, including, people that are speaking out and they're saying, I wish I wouldn't have, and it resulted in either difficulty to have children in the future or
But
mental
why do
trauma.
you care about their life? though?
That's a good question.
Or what about the moms like
That's a good
her
question.
mother who I
So-
wish I actually had an abortion because that wasn't the life path that I wanted to go down, but it was one that I chose to make. Do you care
I'm
about
sorry.
those?
I care about all people. So why do I
But do you care about that specific opinion?
I'm
Somebody who
sorry.
regrets not getting an abortion.
Regrets not. No, I don't regret that mothers wanted to murder their
But do you
kid.
care about the opinions of moms who actually say, I have a child, but I'm not happy with having a family. I
But why
actually
don't
wish
they-
I had gotten an abortion. Do you
Why-
think that
Why don't they just
opinion-
kill their kid then?
I don't think that it necessarily follows that if you regret not getting an abortion that you're going to commit murder.
What
But it's
about
the same. But it's the same thing. Yeah, just put
What
your kid
about
up
it?
for adoption.
What about adoption?
If you regret it so
But your
bad, just give it.
13-year-old I don't think most people at that point, they're not going to
Hold
put
on,
their
you
kid
could drop
up
a
for
kid.
adoption.
Why not? You regret it.
No, I'm not saying anything's stopping them. I'm saying most
Yeah,
people
drop
are
your
not
kid
going
off
to
at
do
the
that.
foster
But
kid system.
if you ask them, like, would you have rather had an abortion or a family? Some of them might say, yeah, actually, having a family and raising a child is very hard. I actually
So
wish I had an abortion.
I
not started
don't
a
doubt
family.
that opinion might be
Not
held.
everybody is fit to be a parent.
But let me just answer your question really quick. Why do I care? If you cannot get the life question right, then you get every other question wrong. When does life begin? And I care about the innocent. I don't like bullies. I don't like evil. And I believe it is an act of evil to destroy those that can't defend themselves, including the 1 million babies in
Are you
in utero.
pro-contraception? Are you pro-women
Personally, or I'm agnostic on the question politically, meaning it's legal, so be it.
Okay.
But I wouldn't consider it to be a good lifestyle choice,
You wouldn't-
including most specifically hormonal birth control. Now, mind you, I'm over my skis on this being a man, but I will yield to the growing community of women on both sides of the political aisle that are ditching their hormonal birth control because they say, I don't like the way it makes me feel. There has
Or
been,
they want an IUD, which is a non-hormonal form
one
of
second,
birth control.
but there is a growing body of literature by Dr. Daniel Amen and many other people that show that the pill increases anxiety and depression and certain types of ideation. So again, I am not going to act like an expert on that, but that's a legit community online of people that are ditching hormonal birth control.
I think the way that you're like phrasing things of like, oh no, like murdering the babies is quite interesting, because I don't think in like any other example where we have a person and their life is somehow connected to someone else, if they decide like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore, like I don't want to give my kidney to this person, I don't want to continue this blood transfusion, I don't want to continue this process, we wouldn't go and point at them and be like, you're a murderer. So I just think that there is a distinction to be made here when you're saying like, oh no, they're murdering babies, by just deciding that like, hey, actually I don't want this like fetus to continue using my lungs, my blood, my organs to continue developing. Like, would you call somebody who doesn't want to have like give a blood transfusion or give a kidney or something
No,
like that?
that's a good question.
murder?
That's actually a good faith question. So if I had the specific type of blood type, okay, and in a hypothetical desert island, there happened to be a medical facility, and somebody right there needed a blood transfusion, and I said no, I would be complicit in their death. Yes.
Okay.
I'm
Do
saying
you think-
that is the extrapolation of the hypothetical you
So
articulated.
if, what is
complicit
it?
to the
wait,
point
let
that
me
you
finish.
should be punished
Wait.
if you refuse to render aid to that
Wait,
person.
Aaron, let
me
Pixie
finish.
finish.
Yeah.
Aaron, let
Let me
Pixie
finish.
finish.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, so if the government decided, hey, you know what, like let's say Joe Biden is put in the hospital and you're the only person for whatever reason in the world that can like give him a kidney, and you have to basically give him like constant transfusions of blood for like the next year, would be a murder if you decided not to do that?
Well, first I would do it, even though I can't stand Joe Biden. So, yeah, just for the record. And if it was only for 9 months, yeah, I'd do it.
And if
Because-
you didn't
hold on.
do it, do you think you should be punished with jail time or
It
worse?
depends the type of informed consent that goes alongside of it, which goes back to why I believe women are lied to and women are victims in the abortion process. And yes, there are exceptions where women really know what's happening.
I was going to say, even
Very, very rare. However, I don't think the law should go towards women. I think they are. First of all, I just think that there should be grace and forgiveness, because a lot of women go to abortions in crisis. They feel overwhelmed. They feel as if the world is against them. The abortionists, let me be very clear, the people that call themselves medical doctors that know better, that actually do the very damaging, graphic removal of the baby, those are the people that I think should be focused when it comes to law. To your point, though, if for 9 months I would have to live a tougher life for another human being to live, I would do that.
Wait, but it's
What
not
about-
just I want to be clear. Would, like what Erin was saying earlier, so do you think the government should be able to punish you for not doing that? Should you be able to go to jail, or should the government be able to send you to jail because you didn't want to give blood transfusions to Joe Biden for 9 months? Should the government have that ability?
It depends if I knew the totality, if there really were no other options. If all of a sudden in this theoretical stranded desert island, in this abstract thing, and I had all the informed consent, and Joe Biden was dying, and he said, "Help me out, bro, I need 9 months of your blood," and I said no, I would be at the very least third-degree murder. Yes.
Do you think that
in
there
that stranded, because all of a sudden if I let him go and I say, no, I'm not going to give you my blood, I'm not going to give you my stuff, I personally wouldn't be able to live with myself. If I have something that I don't need, maybe you guys agree or disagree. If I had something that won't, and this is my own personal life, you guys could disagree, but if I have something that will make my life more difficult for 9 months, to use the analogy, right? But it meant another life could continue, I would sign up in a second.
Do you think there's ever been a woman who has procured an abortion that had totally informed consent and still went through with the decision?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
But
do you think that woman who has informed consent?
That's way too hypothetical. And the answer is no, because how could you find them? How could you investigate them?
Because it happens every single day. There's actually a case right now in Texas of a woman who is actually trying to go to cross state lines to get an abortion, and Texas has said that when she returns, they want to put her in jail.
Yes, so I don't believe in that, number one. And I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to paint me on the extreme of punishing women for abortions, and I'm going to remain hold and fast that I think women are the victims in the abortion industry. They get lied to by Planned Parenthood. They get lied by the abortionists. If I was in your chair, I'd be doing the exact same thing.
But you deny that there's any women that have informed consent in this decision.
No, I didn't
you
say
believe that the vast majority of people that get abortions are deluded into getting them.
I said, of course there are, nor should the law or the policy be focused towards women. And the vast majority, 95%, we know this from studies by pro-life groups, and we know this by studies, not even just by pro-life groups, by Planned Parenthood.
I was going to say by bias groups.
Well, hold on a second. Do they administer an ultrasound before an abortion? Yes or no? The answer is no.
In some states they do, because it's mandated by the state laws, yeah.
Well, not before. Those states have completely eliminated abortion now after the fall of Roe. But
there's no abortion? Or is it that those abortions are just happening in unsafe ways because women can't go to doctors to get them?
Well, many
do you really think that states...
They're doing
hold on. Let Charlie
they're doing abortion tourism, many of them. They're coming to states like this. But let's take California, for example. Let's get less abstract. Where we hear right now, if one of you want to get an abortion down the street, they will not give you an ultrasound before. And just so you know what an ultrasound is, it's a three-dimensional interactive image of the baby, fetus, whatever you want to call it, in the womb before termination. They will not show that. And so to answer your question, first of all, I think it would be so unrealistic, and I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to play into a narrative that really doesn't exist too much. You could use the Texas example, that Republicans want to punish women for having abortions.
They do.
Hold on a second. I don't like that argument. I don't, because from 12 years old, from the first sexual education young girls have in this country, is they look at abortion as normal, as fine, and so they've been indoctrinated. That's why I continue to believe that they are victims of a bigger scheme. They're victims of a bigger scheme, and they should not be punished or held accountable. Instead, you go after the industry itself that knows better.
There's no comprehensive sex ed in this country. I grew up in Texas, and the sex education that I was given, to the extent that I was abstinence only. So them saying, don't have sex, basically. Well, I mean, and another thing, I take issue with something else that you said earlier, which is that, they've reduced abortions because they've made it illegal. But you know that just because something is illegal doesn't mean it doesn't happen anymore. But murder is illegal, but murder happens.
But birth rates are up. So that's how we know it's working.
Were you going off of birth rates, or were you going off the fact that there are 0 reported abortions because doctors refuse to perform them because they don't want to go to jail?
I guarantee you there are back alley abortions happening.
Right.
Far less than used to happen when the clinics were open.
Should those women have to get back alley abortions?
Well, they shouldn't get abortions at all.
But
And-
they're going to. It's just a matter of whether it's going to be safe or not.
Okay, again, that's the murder example. There's still a lot of murders, and I'm glad murder is illegal on the books. It's also the R-word example. It's also those. So I could apply it equally. Of course, there will always be people that break the law, and there will always be people that produce the most graphic, horrific content, illegally online. That doesn't mean the law should not exist. The law needs to be a reflection of morality, and most importantly, the fundamental principle, the defense of the innocent.
How about liberty? Shouldn't it be within people's
That's a good
purview
question.
to engage in like family planning or make those decisions for themselves?
What is liberty?
Liberty is a concept that has been hotly debated by many
I
political
know. That's why I
theorists,
ask it.
scientists, philosophers. But liberty is one having the autonomy and self-determination to be able to make as many free and fair choices in their life and society as possible.
Fair. And so if liberty hurts somebody else, is it still liberty?
No, because now
Okay.
you're infringing upon other people's
So
liberty.
we have
so
clar-
it comes in
one sec.
contact with other people's rights all the time.
Right. So we have clarity but not agreement. I view abortion by being a violation of the liberty principle because there's a victim. You don't view it that way. So we have reasonable disagreement.
Fundamental disagreement.
Yes, we have reasonable disagreement, but there's obviously a victim, right? There's a baby that needs to be scraped aside, cast and put into a trash can. That is a victim. Therefore, it's the violation of the liberty principle that you articulated.
Brian, I want to ask you a question. Do you think that it's consistent in Charlie Kirk's...
Yeah.
Do you think it's consistent in Charlie's philosophy to say that a woman procuring an abortion, which is akin to murder, should not have to go to jail even though she's effectively murdering her own child or future child?
Well, truthfully, I'm not really well versed on this topic, so.
From what you've heard so far, do you think that if somebody conflates abortion with murder, that
I'm
the
not
person
the
who
politics
gets
guy.
one...
I'm the dating guy.
Yeah.
But it came up. Sorry, repeat the question.
Just, do you think it's consistent in someone's philosophy to say simultaneously that abortion is murder, but that the person who actually asks for that murder effectively should not have to go to jail? Do you think that's consistent, or do you think that doesn't make sense?
I'm not even following. Sorry, I've got.
Think about it.
If somebody
conceives of abortion as murder,
Yes.
do you think that if they engage in getting an abortion, aka murder, they should be excluded from going to jail because they're just a victim? Do you think that's consistent?
I don't honestly.
You're not
I don't
representing.
know.
You're not representing my argument.
That's
That's
fine.
my answer.
There's
I
an
don't
important
know.
wrinkle
I don't
that
know.
you're missing, which is that the woman, in my view, and any objective analysis, does not get the full picture of what's being done to her, the full picture of the being inside of her. So that's a very important element you're missing here, right?
But I was saying that even if in the cases that they do, and they choose to get an abortion, should they go to jail? And you wouldn't engage with the hypothetical. I want to see if Brian will.
So let me be honest. If they did engage in that and all that, there should be a national forgiveness for those women.
Okay.
And that's what I would say. And in those very rare cases, because what we're talking about is improbable, it would be, first of all, insanely unpopular, and I'm very aware of that. But I offer grace and forgiveness to women that have had abortion, not to the people that have conducted them.
I do want to move on here a little bit because Charlie has to leave in about 15, 20 minutes. So last thing on the abortion thing, just really quick, and I think we might have touched on this before, I guess just for Pixie and you, just since you guys seem the most vocal on this topic, do you think that a woman not being financially ready is a valid reason to get an abortion?
Yes.
Yeah.
All of you? Okay.
Yes.
What about parental responsibility? Maybe they could be financially ready, but they just don't want to the increased burden, I guess, to be a parent. Is that also a valid?
That's valid.
Valid reason.
I don't think the government has a right to basically dictate your bodily autonomy. That's where I draw the line. Even if another being is dependent on it.
So I have a question for you. What do you say to a man who is not financially ready or who is not perhaps not ready for the parental responsibility? What do you tell him?
It's his choice too.
Should he have not had sex? Is that what you tell a man?
No. I think they should have been more careful, but I wouldn't say overall that they're responsible for engaging in sex. Accidents happen with everything.
But what is the outcome for a man who is not financially ready or does not want the parental responsibility?
Paper abortions. They call these paper abortions. You can write away your parental
men's rights
rights.
advocates prefer, I believe that the term is legal paternal surrender.
Legal paternal surrender
Is the
solution to this,
Yeah.
where men can surrender their rights and any claims to parenthood of that
and
child.
they wouldn't
if
have to
they so
pay
choose.
child support.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think that
But
is the.
Do you think that that's
It's an imperfect solution, but it's the closest thing that you could get because you would never have the say over whether or not somebody carries pregnancy to term. Somebody else.
Okay, Pixie, any thoughts on that?
Yeah. I guess I just like I'm in similar alignment. I think again, I think there's a legal question of abortion and there's like a moral question as well as when it comes to like giving birth. And that's why I think like even morally, even though I might not personally have an abortion or whatever, I just don't think the government has a right to tell you what to do with your body.
If you can try to actually answer the question. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
what do you tell, because in all 50 states in the US, whether there's abortion rights or not in that state, in all 50 states, if the woman chooses to proceed with the pregnancy and has the child, there's certainly going to be some either financial or parental responsibilities that men cannot so easily do away with.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's...
I understand what you're saying.
What do you tell a man, though, who's like, I don't want to have to pay child support. I don't want to have to be parentally responsible for the child. What do you say to a man in that situation?
You have a legal right to do that. That doesn't necessarily mean...
men don't have a legal right to do that in any state. But it's really interesting how people who are in favor of abortion become Bronze Age pro-lifers when it comes to the male side of this.
Well, no,
because
I'm consistent. I've said that legally. I don't think the government should have a say on what you do with your bodily autonomy. And I think legally, a man should have the government shouldn't like necessarily force you to claim childhood or like parenthood over a child that you don't claim to have. Does that make sense? I'm saying that there's like a legal consistency here that I believe in.
Okay, so you're in favor of a legal paternal surrender.
Yeah.
Perhaps in states where abortion is legal.
Yeah. And men are already surrendering their children, even without that not happening.
I think
men can walk out on their men can already walk out on their children. Men can walk out on their children. They already do. I think it would be better.
Of course.
But I don't think. Yeah, I think there's a difference between like moral and legality, and that's where I think we would agree.
Yeah, men are already doing this. I think it would just be better to regulate it and bring it above board and make it like a formalized legal thing.
Yeah. So I have a question. You're obviously very pro-life. Are you a vegetarian?
I am not a vegetarian. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm vegan.
Doesn't sound
even
very
though
pro-life. Slay.
Well, a cow is not a human being.
But it's a
It
life.
is a life.
It's not a human life.
than a
I think he's
uterus.
pro-human.
Hold on a second.
Pro-human life.
You do know
Human
that
supremacy.
vegetables are alive too.
Broccoli screams when you pull it from the ground.
So, and by the way, there is a moral difference between a cow or a salmon or swordfish than a human being.
I don't think she was equating them, but she was just saying that they have the capacity for life,
I think they're
suffering,
still
like,
alive.
or
Well,
like I think
That's why I said,
a cow,
hold on, rewind the tape. I said, when does human life begin? I did ask that question, right?
No, I don't think she was calling that into question. I think she was just asking, like,
was
do you
just saying
extend that to
general,
animals? Because most people
pro-life.
won't
No,
extend that to
I do
animals.
not. No,
Animals are
I think
life.
that we as human beings have supremacy over animals. Yeah, we should watch and care for animals to the best of our ability, so we should kill them humanely, but...
What is this? Come on now.
That's
what
what
are
the
you
abortion
saying?
argument.
Well, hold on.
Made abortion.
Wait, if you really think a human life and a cow is similar, then
A
that's...
cow is better than a human life. Let me
Similar
just
as
say
far as
that.
like moral worth
Cows
and
are
moral
so sweet.
consideration. I don't think that there's going to be like a comparison as far as like in the way that you're making, I guess. But like people feel this attachment to animals already, like they're pets, right? Like a dog or a cat. Honestly, if you ask most people, would you rather save a stranger in a fire or your pet, your dog or your
Well,
cat
that's
in a
screwed up
fire?
morally.
Most people would say,
No,
I'm
you're
going to
right.
save my pet.
Yeah, because that's screwed up because they follow their heart, not their head.
Why
I
my
have a
cat
question.
matters.
Wait,
Well,
You shouldn't
Following
follow
about-
your heart.
really quick, but I do want to move.
No, you are
on.
right. Most people would save their dog, or a
Yeah.
stranger went drowning, they would save the dog. You're
Yeah.
right, and that's
If it was their dog.
that is a
I think
yes,
if it was
your
just a dog they didn't
and
know
a
they wouldn't.
stranger. But to answer your question, no, I'm a meat eater and I'm proud of it.
He's a proud meat eater, folks.
Oh wait, really quick. You asked if I would date a pro-lifer, Lila, who comes on your show? What's her name?
Lila Rose.
Lila Rose.
Oh,
she's
I
been
would
on
date Lila Rose.
3-4
Okay,
times.
I will
Wait,
become
huh?
pro-life for you, Lila. You're beautiful. So.
All right, I'll let her know, and perhaps.
Yeah,
well,
there you
she's
go.
married. Okay, all right. Let's pump the
I
brakes.
missed. I
pump the brakes
missed
here.
my opportunity.
So a couple. I think some of you raised your hand when you said you were feminists. Do you guys believe in the patriarchy?
Yeah, of course.
The evil patriarchy. You know.
I don't know much about
It's
it.
conspiracy.
All
It
I
is,
know is men and
it's
horses.
basically QAnon for liberal feminists.
Didn't Chase, like he thinks that patriarchy is the natural state of the world and should be brought back to that. So how is that QAnon if it's like people within your own group believe that?
Acknowledging.
I disagree with Chase about a lot of things, and
Okay.
I mean
That
he's he's been a recurring guest on the show, but his views are not
A reflection of whatever.
necessarily representative of whatever. So.
But do you think that the tradcons or people, I don't know, I think all tradcons believe in this, but a lot of them who claim like patriarchy should be the state of the world. Do you
Yeah, like the
believe they're
patriarchal family
QAnoners?
structure.
I think there's certainly some merit to it, but I do everybody, and also I think people have different definitions of what that is. I mean, I certainly don't think that we live in a patriarchy currently. I don't think there's patriarchy.
Do you mean the United States or globally? Or both?
I mean, I think it vary based on the country.
That's a good question.
For example, the United Kingdom has, for the past 200 years, for most of those 200 years, has been, maybe it's even more, has been under the rule of a queen.
Mm-hmm.
It was monarchy, but I mean, I'm not super...
A sovereign, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not super well educated on the...
It's more a figurehead, but still.
Yeah, exactly. But going back to my question, patriarchy. You guys believe in the patriarchy? Is there patriarchy?
We believe in that patriarchy.
Well, what about the other panelists here? Sophia,
don't really
is there
know what it
patriarchy? You seem very strong opinions on the patriarchy.
Oh, do I really?
Is there a patriarchy?
Can I use the bathroom?
This is
The patriarchy is dictating.
Loose Pussy Energy
Jesus.
donated $200. Wow. Brian, how are you not going to invite Josie when you got Destiny's Librarian on?
Oh.
Josie greater than Screechy 4 eyes. Alpha Joe Dirt, Rin, Feminism, 304s and simps.
Okay, all right.
Hashtag stole my audio fingers number 8 at 18. Hashtag I want the smoke.
Okay, LP.
I got like 5 minutes. We can wrap it up.
Okay,
Start
yes,
to land the plane.
definitely. Yo, LP, thank you, appreciate it. Okay, so I think I wanted to do one thing with Sophia. Yo, Sophia, can you wait like 5 minutes before you use the bathroom?
I'm sorry.
I wanted Charlie's thoughts on this, and we're gonna have a little bit of reverb issues, but just bear through it, and then I'll fix it once next time we get to it. Sophia, I was curious. Sophia, you do OnlyFans.
Yes.
I noticed in some of your photos, Nick, if you can pull them up.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Zoom it out just a tad. Nick.
Thank you.
One more. Nick. I noticed you're wearing a cross next.
Yes.
Are you Christian?
So I grew up
Scroll, make it
Catholic.
bigger, Nick.
I grew up Catholic, and my mom.
There's another. Scroll up, Nick. Scroll up. Come on. No. Nick, scroll down so I can.
Oh gosh. I know where this is leading.
This is gonna be a cross. Okay. Next one. Not too far, Nick. Scroll down. Okay. All right. There you go, Nick. This guy can't. Okay. Another cross. Okay. What cheers you up? And there's a tip. What emoji is that? The eggplant. Okay. Next. Okay, Netflix and Fook, and there's the cross, and then of course you use your Twitter to scroll down just a bit. You use your Twitter to you promote your OnlyFans. So I'm curious, do you while you're shooting your OnlyFans content, your pornographic content, do you wear your cross while you?
Oh man.
And I noticed you're wearing a cross. I think you're.
I know. I took off my cross. I don't have a cross with me right now.
That top
I
one
have it
is
at
like
home,
an
but-
altered. Anyways, do you wear your cross while you're shooting pornographic content?
I probably have, yes.
You probably have.
How
do you reconcile? Are you Christian?
I grew up Catholic.
Okay, Catholic.
And my mom is. We grew up Catholic because my dad and my mom is Christian.
Okay.
But I mean, my personal beliefs. I believe in God. I believe in a higher being. But I'm not as strict as I would say a Catholic would be, like a firm believer.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't really think much of it, and maybe I'm at fault for that. But I wear the cross because I do believe in God, and I love
Sure.
you know.
I guess just how do you reconcile, wearing the cross, sort of still being a Catholic, I guess, with producing pornographic content,
I guess,
which does seem at odds with the faith.
I mean, she already said she doesn't think too much about it.
I don't. That's
Okay.
maybe that's where
I don't think it's at
fault is,
odds. You ever heard of Mary Magdalene?
What
Jesus'
is the assertion with her?
Mary
Because
Magdalene
I've
was-
heard differing accounts on that.
Mary
Are you
Magdalene
Christian,
was a-
Charlie?
Just,
Or-
yeah, mildly Christian.
Okay.
Yeah, Mary Magdalene was a prostitute,
Yeah.
as inferred in the scriptures. But Jesus did tell a prostitute in John 8 to sin no more. So
Sin no
he
more.
loves all
But he
people.
befriended her, and he was.
That
he
is
loved
correct.
her.
He loves
Okay.
all people, but he didn't necessarily love what they did.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
important.
Okay.
And I'm only saying that. I don't think that there's any point in the Bible where Jesus endorses her actions, but he does have love for her. So
Correct. Right.
Sure. Okay. And so, I guess, like, okay. Do you think God wants you doing adult pornographic content? Because you said you at least believe in God, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I don't think he specifically likes it, but I know that he does love me, and I have reasons to why I do what I do.
Okay.
And they're good reasons.
Sure.
And it's not mostly it's not selfish at all, and
Sure.
I actually provide a lot for my family.
Do you think
Am
God
I-
wants you doing adult content? Splitnik?
Probably not.
Okay. Okay.
But
Fair enough.
um
Do you have any thoughts on that, Charlie?
Well, I have like broad thoughts in general.
Okay,
I've,
sure.
I've enjoyed the discussion, everybody. And I will just make one parting thing.
Sure.
Thank you guys for a respectful conversation, even though we see things very differently, and I hope the chat enjoyed it. Look, for whatever it's worth, if you're engaged in the creation of that content, I think God has a better plan for you. I know that might sound preachy and not what you want to hear, but just maybe you'll have an encounter with God, and Jesus loves all of you, and he can transform your life. He transformed my life. I've had a lot of problems in my life, and Jesus solves everything. And every day is a new day, and it's a hopeful, beautiful life ahead of you. And I know that might not be something you even believe, and you might think that all Christians hate you and your way of life, and all those sorts of
Most
things.
of them do.
Well, I'll say this. I'm a pretty firm believing, outspoken Christian, and God loves every single one of us. We're all sinners, and Jesus died
I mean, you've
for us.
definitely been the most respectful one that I've seen.
Well,
or
thank you. That's very,
met.
very kind. And I can tell you, it's not me. If it was me, I'd be yelling and screaming. It's the Holy Spirit. It really is. I know it might sound silly. It might sound cliche, but Jesus has gone to work on my life. And so God bless you guys. Thank you for a great discussion.
Charlie, thank you for coming. Where can the people, if they want to, find more of you? You got a YouTube channel? You've got.
We have a YouTube channel. If you guys want to subscribe to it, we do a podcast of 3 hours a day, and you run a great show here.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for being great co-hosts. So you're going to keep the stream going, right?
Yeah, we're going to keep the stream
Sorry,
going.
5 hours.
Totally. Yeah.
That's a lot
A lot of hours.
If anybody, I'm trying to think. Is there anything that we can plug with TP USA?
Yeah, if you want to get involved with Turning Point USA, it's tpusa.com. The best way to support me is to take out your phone and subscribe to our podcast, the Charlie Kirk Show podcast. And I'd love to come back. I think these are really important discussions.
Thank you so much for coming. Is there a local TP USA charter here at UCSB?
Right-
we have
right
a
down
lot
the
of
street.
students
Yeah,
that watch. So
we're not very well
if you're
located.
local here to Santa Barbara, you can do it through UCSB.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Yeah,
for coming,
thanks, guys.
Charlie.
Have a great day.
Really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
W's in the chat for Charlie. Thank you, Charlie, again. Madison is going to be joining the panel here.